Welcome to Defense Diaries. I'm your host, Bob Mata, and we are covering a tragic, tragic case, one that has been on probably a lot of our radars that covered the Karen Reed trial and case. That was the first place I'd heard of the Sandra Birchmore case. And as I began to read into what happened to this poor beautiful young girl, it was horrifying. And this, there was so much chatter. Like, they're two separate cases. That's the first thing I want to say. Like, Sandra Birchmore has nothing to do with Karen Reed, other than some of the players in terms of the cops involved in both those cases are involved with both those cases. Otherwise, they're completely separate things. I'm going to keep them that way because this is about Sandra and not anybody else. So today, some huge news dropped this morning. A cop by the name of Matthew Farwell, who we are going to get into the indictment that kind of lays out the story of who he is, was indicted federally, not state. This is the feds. This is the U.S. Attorney's Office has indicted him for murder. And I think that it'll be good for us. And hopefully Dizzy, I'm assuming she's here. I keep her so busy, though. She hasn't popped on the live yet. So, I mean, she could be sleeping. Like, she wasn't sleeping, but I'm going to feverishly be trying to figure out where they're streaming the press conference. If anybody in the chat knows, because I want to go through this indictment before that presser starts, so that you guys have an idea of, if you're not familiar with the case, I want you to have an understanding of what this thing is all about. And this is a pretty good way to get into it. The feds don't play. I'll just tell you that right now. When it's a federal case, I'm just going to tell you from experience that they are ready to proceed on it. They are ready to go. By the time they go and get an indictment, federal indictment, they have their case on lock. Their conviction rate in the federal courts is exceptionally high. They don't play. They've got the resources of the federal government. They've got really bright individuals putting these cases together from the law enforcement side, as well as the U.S. attorneys. U.S. attorneys are typically the cream of the crop. You're going to find some of your best lawyers out there in terms of prosecutors are in the U.S. Attorney's Office. So let's start taking a peek at this. So, United States of America, it is in the District of Massachusetts. USA versus Matthew Farwell. Count one count. That's all they need. Killing a witness or a victim, which is 18 USC 1512 A1C. That it's interesting because federal statutes are separate and apart from state statutes. So when we start getting into this, you'll see how it fits in and how this was a federal case. The indictment at all times relevant to this indictment. These are the general allegations. I'm going to blow it up so you guys can see a little better. So between on or about March 27th of 2012, so talking about a family that's been waiting for justice for a long time, and or about April 1 of 2022, defendant Matthew Farwell was a sworn officer of the Stoughton Police Department in Stoughton, Massachusetts. In his capacity as a Stoughton police officer, Farwell also served as an instructor for the Stoughton Police Explorers Academy, hereinafter the Police Explorers, which was a vocational education group or program for local youth. The Police Explorers were designed to enable youth participants to learn about law enforcement careers. Paragraph 2, Sandra Birchmore was born in May of 1997. In and around March of 2010, Sandra Birchmore applied to be a participant in the Police Explorers. At that time, Birchmore was 12 years old. She began participating in the program in and around the spring of 2010 and remained in the program in and around 2016. Prior to or around 2012, Farwell was a Police Explorers volunteer. He became an instructor when he started working for the Stoughton Police Department in 2012. Let me get this into my scroll mode. Okay. Where is it? Okay. Before Birchmore attained the age of 16 years old, Farwell engaged in sexual intercourse and other acts with Birchmore. Farwell's sexual contact with Birchmore continued until in and around early of 2021. The Stoughton Police Department required employees, including police officers, to accurately report their time and attendance in order to receive wages and overtime. Some of the shifts when Farwell was supposed to be performing of his duties as a Stoughton police officer, he was instead engaged in sex acts with Birchmore. He failed to disclose that information to the Stoughton Police Department, and he took steps to conceal his conduct from other department employees. In and around 2020, Birchmore learned that she was pregnant. Birchmore told Farwell that he was the father of the child. On or about January 20th of 2021, Birchmore's friend called the Stoughton Police Department and told a department employee that Farwell had been having sex with Birchmore. Shortly thereafter, a Stoughton Police Department employee told Farwell about the call. On or about February 1 of 2021, Farwell killed Birchmore by strangulation. Shortly thereafter, Farwell staged Birchmore's Canton, Massachusetts apartment to make it appear as if Birchmore had committed suicide. The grand jury realleges and incorporates by reference the allegations in paragraphs 1 through 8. And on or about February 1 of 2021 in Canton, in the District of Massachusetts, the defendant, Matthew Farwell, did kill Sarah Birchmore, a person known to the grand jury, with malice aforethought, willfully, deliberately, maliciously, and with premeditation, and with the intent to prevent the communication by any person to a law enforcement officer of information relating to the commission or possible commission of a federal offense, to wit, commission of or possible commission of the federal offenses of deprivation of rights under color of law in violation of 18 U.S.C. 242, coercion and enticement, in violation of 18 U.S.C. 2422B, and wire fraud in violation of 18 U.S.C. 1343. And that's how they have federal jurisdiction. So all in violation of Title 18, the U.S. Code, Section 1512 A1C. And that is a true bill of indictment right there. All right. So let me jump on here into the tubes. I'm going to try, I didn't see in the chat, but did anybody give me a heads up on, I'm thinking Boston 10. Boston 10 seems like the one. Seems like that'll do us just fine over there. In the meantime, we are still waiting on a verdict in the Robert Tellez case, or Tellez or Tejas, however he pronounces it. Allison was taking exception to his bastardization of the. All right, let's see, Boston 10. Okay, let's see if they got anything going on live. A whole bunch of Karen Reed shit. All right. Okay, this could be a big dud if I can't find the stream. Let me see what Dizzy's saying. She was in my text. Wait, they're saying they can't get into the StreamYard. That's blank screen. That's weird. It's really, really weird. All right. Oh my God, the verdict's being read at noon. It's all noon their time, right? So that'll be 1 my time. Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. Facebook for the U.S. attorney. Okay, let me pull up my Facebook then. Okay, like how predictable? How predictable? How predictable is it that oh my God, that's insane. How predictable. Well, maybe this will work out, right? Like this presser can't take longer than 15 minutes, and then we dip right over to Tejas, right? I mean, okay, let's see. All right. Okay. Yeah, I'd rather watch on I can't understand why Dizzy can't get in. Which is really, really crippling me. All right, let's see. Do they have okay. Um I am not like where is the live stream for Boston 10? All right. I don't want to shit the bed on this. I've got 1 minute. MB Inc. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Wherever you stream. Okay. Subscribe. Live. I just don't see where their live shit is. Hey. All right. Oh my God, I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss it. All right. I hate to do. Okay, so she's on Mel's. All right, Mel won't care. I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna go over to Melanie's. All right, let me see. Jeez. Okay. Okay, going in over there. Yeah, see, Mel's got the same thing. I'm gonna. Okay. All right. Okay, let's see. All right, looks like she might have it. All right, so I'm gonna share Mel. Okay, so stop that. I'm gonna present Melanie. She is okay.
And here we go.
All right, so Melanie's got it.
Razzler's mom, I guess we'll be with you all day, Melanie. I approve of this. I'm not mad about it. Spending my day with you is the best. Having you here is the best too, Razzler's mom. It seems like they're setting up, so we'll just minimize it until we are ready to go. Look at us getting this done. We got to read the federal indictment together. We got the live feed up of the press conference that is going to start. Look, notice the Department of Justice seal in the background. What a great day for justice. U.S. Attorney's seal.
Okay, let's see.
Wow. This is a great day, my friends. This is really a great day. Tick, tick, boom. And bang, bang. Bang, bang. I'm learning. Yeah, Tellus verdict is not going to be read until 3. Thank you, Team Brittany. You are on it and you are amazing.
So that's 2 for
and
us.
the only thing I'm not on here is why is this thing?
Let's see. All right.
One of these days, I'm going to learn about technology, and then it's not going to be as fun because I won't be swiping myself out and all of such. The other things, justice for Sandra, her unborn baby, and the fall of the Norfolk DA's office, and we are here for it, and we are outraged. Can you imagine them ruling this a suicide?
Yeah.
From the beginning. I mean, can you imagine?
That's the way the guy played it.
We looked at the police reports. We looked at the investigative reports. We looked at everything that we could look at on this case. Annabeth says this is important, but it also makes me think Canton PD and MSP managed to screw the O'Keefe investigation up enough so there won't ever be an indictment of the actual perpetrators. What if somebody rolls over? Annabeth, what if somebody rolls over? The pressure's on. Yeah. Yeah, Travel Truth.
So Dizzy can't get in.
Hello. Hi, CM. Hi, CM Laval. Thanking me for showing it. Thank you. Thank you guys for tuning in. David Reese, who knows a lot about this case and everything that is happening in the Karen Reed case and other cases in Massachusetts. Officer Keefe worked in the office that sex offenders register. He didn't investigate any cases. Thank you. And I do trust your info because you have a lot of info. Tell us we're 3 p.m. Eastern. Yes, 3 p.m. Eastern and 12 and noon Pacific.
This is killing me.
Noon Pacific. That is what is up right now.
I was
I'm going to show you
on her
for a
getting it up,
memento
and she can't get in. They're
on
saying
the law and crime feed. See, verdict is in to be read at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. So do not worry one bit. I'm taking care of you. We're going to do it all today. We're doing it all. Linda says, finally. Estrella, you think the FBI is done investigating anything else? I don't know. I don't know, but I do know that Josh Levy likes to do things in bunches when he drops his indictments, likes to do them. Remember the stream that we did on the MSP officers who were in charge of giving out commercial driver's licenses? Now, a bunch of them were indicted for trading commercial driver's licenses to people who didn't take the test or couldn't pass the test, or employees of companies whose employees of companies whose employees needed commercial driver licenses. And the MSP guys who were indicted on that were taking favors and such things as plunge pools, driveways, mailboxes, expensive water for their barracks or wherever they worked out of. And that was Josh Levy. Donna Burke. Yep. There's a few Canton cops who are on investigation for Karen Reed are involved too. Yep. Dun, dun, dun. Susquehanna Zone. Shaylee, it is a good day for justice. Powerpuff 4 says, good day for justice. Glad the FBI finally got involved. Norfolk let their community down again. Thank you, Zelda, for becoming a new member. And thank you, Mama She, for the 10. Great day for justice. Yes, it is. We're also going to get a verdict in the Tellus case. So we'll see what happens there. They were out for at least 10 hours, and we were all very surprised that they did not come back. Melissa, thank you so much. Let's all say her name, Sandra Birchmore. Thanks for being a member for 7 months, Melissa. Here's Josh Levy, my friends. Here he is. Good evening to the Netherlands.
Good afternoon. On February 4th, 2021, Sandra Birchmore was found dead in her Canton, Massachusetts apartment. The charges filed today in federal court allege that she was in fact murdered by Matthew Farwell 3 days earlier. At the time of her death, Sandra Birchmore was a 23-year-old woman with her entire life ahead of her, and she was pregnant with her first child. We allege that Sandra Birchmore survived years of grooming, statutory rape, and then sexual violence, all at the hands of Matthew Farwell, who was employed throughout their relationship as an officer and then detective for the Stoughton Police Department. And when it became clear to Mr. Farwell that he could no longer control Sandra Birchmore, he allegedly silenced her permanently. This morning, Matthew Farwell was arrested on a federal grand jury indictment, charging him with one count of killing a witness or victim. Specifically, Mr. Farwell is charged with violating Title 18 United States Code 1512 for killing Sandra Birchmore with the intent of preventing her from communicating information about his possible commission of federal crimes. How did this all unfold? What happened here? Well, back in 2010, a 12-year-old Sandra Birchmore applied to join the Stoughton Police Department's Explorers program, which introduces teens to policing. Officer Matthew Farwell was an instructor in that program. And as alleged in court documents, he befriended Sandra Birchmore, contacted her online, went to the library with her, became friends on Facebook, essentially groomed her. And then he committed statutory rape by having sex with her when he was a 27-year-old police officer and she was just 15 years old. Mr. Farwell continued to have a sexual relationship with Sandra Birchmore until her death 8 years later, allegedly meeting her for sex regularly when he was on duty and being paid by the Stoughton Police Department. Now, in the weeks leading up to Sandra Birchmore's death in February 2021, she found out that she was expecting a baby. And she told Mr. Farwell that he was the father. According to court documents, Ms. Birchmore was very excited about becoming a mother, buying baby clothes and other items, taking precautions to ensure the health of her new child. Sandra Birchmore had good friends, she had a good job, she had dreams of becoming a nurse, and she had a child on the way. But Mr. Farwell did not share in that excitement. It's alleged that Mr. Farwell reacted quite negatively to the news that Sandra Birchmore was pregnant with his child. And he acted angrily, it is alleged, when Sandra Birchmore started making requests of Mr. Farwell around doctor's appointments and ultrasounds and what information would be on the birth certificate. Mr. Farwell was losing control in late 2020, early 2021. And the information that Sandra Birchmore possessed about his illegal conduct was in danger of slipping out. In fact, word started to get out about their relationship. Less than 2 weeks before she was found dead, someone called the Stoughton Police Department and disclosed that Matthew Farwell had had a relationship with Sandra Birchmore. And when Mr. Farwell learned about that call, he became visibly angry. Mr. Farwell, it is alleged in these court papers, started to lose his patience, lose his temper, and the 6'4" Mr. Farwell started to be physically violent with 4'10" Sandra Birchmore. And Sandra Birchmore told her friends that Mr. Farwell had pushed her and shoved her and put her in a chokehold. She was scared. And during that same time, Mr. Farwell was allegedly planning Sandra Birchmore's murder. For the first time, he requested a key to her apartment. And she told friends that he was oddly inspecting the apartment and looking at the closet, including the closet that she was found dead in front of. And then it all came to a head on February 1st, 2021. Mr. Farwell went over to her apartment that evening and he strangled Sandra Birchmore to death. That's the allegation in this case. And he used his knowledge and experience as a law enforcement officer to stage her death to look like a suicide.
What a piece of shit.
He allegedly attempted to cover his tracks to literally
What a piece
try and get
of
away
shit.
with murder. And he almost did until today. Back in 2021, with the information that was available, Sandra Birchmore's death was ruled a suicide or deemed a suicide. But over the last year or so, the FBI and our office have been working exhaustively with our state partners. We've uncovered critical new information, examined the existing information, all of which led to this federal grand jury indictment. If convicted on this charge, Mr. Farwell faces a minimum of life imprisonment.
Minimum of life or death.
Giving voice to the voiceless ensuring that no one is above the law, protecting the vulnerable people of Massachusetts. That's the highest calling of people in law enforcement. And this case represents those principles. And every day across Massachusetts, thousands of police officers, federal, state, local law enforcement put their lives on the line to protect the people of Massachusetts. Mr. Farwell violated those principles, and now he faces very grave consequences. It is disheartening to have to charge law enforcement officers, especially with crimes as serious. But it's our job at the Department of Justice
Yeah, no
to
shit.
investigate potential
I don't give a
crimes.
shit if they're cops, they're
Without
criminals,
fear
they're criminals. If
and
they're
without
murderers,
favor.
they're murderers. Who cares what their
We
job
do in
is?
this office what we've been doing for decades with our federal partners like the FBI. We follow the facts, regardless of where they lead. We apply the law and the principles of federal prosecution. Full stop.
Full
We're not
stop.
influenced by social media chatter. We're not influenced by politics. We're influenced by the facts and the law. Our mission is to do our level best to do justice in every case. And our mission today is to do justice for Sandra Birchmore. Lastly, I want to note that we are sharing the information and the evidence that we developed in this case with the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, with the Massachusetts State Police, and with the Massachusetts Attorney General's Office, so they can assess whether state charges may be warranted in this situation. And I want to thank those three agencies. I also want to thank the Stoughton Police Department for their assistance in our investigation. Lastly, I want to commend the women and the men of the FBI Boston and Lakeville for their incredible work on this case. This was a dogged investigation. And as you look at the court papers, you'll see exactly how much work has gone into this matter. A huge credit to them. And I particularly want to thank the members of my office, the office I'm proud to lead, the victim witness advocates, paralegals, the chief of our human trafficking and civil rights unit, Liz Riley, assistant United States attorneys, Tori Cummings and Brian Fogarty. This case doesn't happen without their passion for justice. They deserve the credit, not me. Now I want to turn it over to Steve Kelleher, the assistant special agent in charge of FBI Boston.
All right, this is what I'm gonna do.
The FBI arrested former Stoughton police officer Matthew Farwell for allegedly taking
All
the
right,
life of
switch
Sandra
over to
Birchmore in order to
Crime
ensure
Live.
her silence.
Trial TV Live.
The FBI SWAT team took him into custody at a shopping plaza in Revere without incident. Immediately following his arrest, we shared this significant development with Sandra's family. We know it does not ease their pain, but hopefully it answers some of their questions. Simply put, this case is about seeking justice for Sandra, who we believe was killed by Matthew Farwell after he allegedly groomed and sexually abused her when she was just 15 years old, violating her body and her civil rights. It's also about keeping Mr. Farwell from getting away with murder and from harming anyone else. We in law enforcement are entrusted with immense authority because our decisions can have life-changing consequences, both good and bad. To temper that power, we must adhere to the highest of ethical standards. What we believe Officer Matthew Farwell did, as outlined in today's indictment, is depraved and a gross betrayal of his sworn oath and the public's trust. Let me be clear. Matthew Farwell's gun and badge did not grant him authority to violate the Constitution.
Goddamn right.
And it certainly didn't entitle him to sexually exploit, abuse, and rape a child before killing her and her unborn baby in an attempt to cover up his alleged crimes. What's also troubling is we believe Matthew Farwell staged Sandra's body and her apartment to make it look like she had died by suicide. In the days that followed, this sworn police officer repeatedly lied to Massachusetts State Police investigators about the nature of their relationship. It's a stark contrast to the sheer excitement and pure joy that Sandra felt when she told Farwell that she was expecting his child, texting him a photo of a poster she had made celebrating the pregnancy. Our investigation also uncovered additional evidence that is inconsistent with someone choosing to die by suicide. In the hours leading up to Sandra's death, she reached out to a photographer to inquire about booking a newborn photo shoot. She also reached out to a friend about obtaining baby clothes. And at the time that she was in the middle of doing laundry when she died, with a load in the washing machine and another one in the dryer. There's no question this was a complex investigation, and our work is not done. Our agents, analysts, and financial investigators reviewed tens of thousands of text messages, emails, and financial records conducted dozens of interviews with family, friends, and experts, and analyzed the crime scene. We urge anyone with information about the circumstances surrounding Sandra's death to contact the FBI. Committing murder to eliminate victims and witnesses is heinous, and it shakes the very core of our justice system, which depends on people truthfully testifying to what they know. Today's arrest shows that anyone who tries to interfere and retaliate against victims and witnesses in an attempt to subvert the rule of law will have to answer for it. After all, the public's trust is critical for our justice system to function properly. That's why the FBI will do everything in its power to bring to justice anyone who tries to undermine that trust. Our hearts go out to Sandra, to the Birchmore family, and all who knew and loved Sandra. On behalf of the FBI, I want to thank them for their cooperation, patience, perseverance, and fortitude. I also want to thank our agents and analysts for their hard work and dedication, Acting U.S. Attorney Josh Levy and his team for their partnership, and both Chief McNamara of the Stoughton Police Department and Colonel Mon with the Massachusetts State Police for their assistance in helping us move this investigation forward. Thank you.
Well done. Well done. Let that Fed talk. The Fed feels like we feel.
Well, I think if you have, when you have a chance to look through the court papers, you'll see how exhaustive this investigation is. Obviously, this is an incredibly serious charge. There was a lot of forensics and other evidence that had to be marshaled, expert witnesses, et cetera. So we move as fast as we can, and we also have a duty to get it right.
Was there a rush to find a suicide because this involved a police officer?
Yeah, our office wasn't involved in the initial determination of a suicide, so I can't speak to that.
You mentioned your office got involved about a year ago. What prompted that?
Yeah, we get leads on cases all the time from all different sources. I'm not going to comment on how we get information on how we got into this one.
As you said initially, this was considered a suicide, but it seems like there's a plethora of evidence to suggest otherwise. Surveillance, text messages. How was that all missed for the first 2 years?
Yeah, I'm only in a position to comment on what we've done on this investigation. Those questions are not something I'm able to answer to. We like I said in my comments, we started pulling this string and followed the evidence and got new evidence to put together the case we put together today.
What evidence did you own?
I'm sorry, sir?
What evidence led you to
It's you're never able to pick one piece of evidence that is the straw that breaks the camel's back. It's really an accumulation. We have to go in front of a jury, 12 citizens, and convince them beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Farwell is guilty. That's on us. He's presumed innocent today, and he will remain innocent until we meet that burden. But it's all the evidence in combination makes that case.
Did the state medical examiner's office plan to change the cause of death on her birth death certificate, and did you determine who the father of her unborn baby was?
Well, I'll take those in reverse order. I'm not going to comment on the second piece. What we have alleged in the court papers is that Ms. Birchmore told Mr. Farwell several times that he was the father. And your question about the state medical examiner, obviously, they don't report to me, and that's a question better directed to the state medical
Matthew
examiner.
is mentioned here, but we've heard reports over the years of several other officers. Have you guys conducted any other ongoing investigations related to something?
So I think Assistant Special Agent Charge Kelleher alluded to the fact this is an ongoing investigation. I'm not going to comment on what the other pieces are that we're looking into, but it's an active investigation.
So
Shelley?
This is a death penalty eligible case. Is that on the table, or is that already off?
Should be.
Shelley, you're absolutely correct. The maximum penalty under this statute as charged is a sentence of death. And whether to seek the death penalty in a federal case is decided at the highest levels of the Department of Justice. That decision has not been made on whether
Should be.
the death penalty sought in this case, and that process will continue, but I can't comment on it beyond that.
Would you favor that? Would you push for that?
Not going to comment on it. It's a process that involves a lot of people at the Department of Justice, and I'm not going to share my view on this.
Did other officers in Stoughton or Stoughton government know about the grooming, the underage sexual contact that Matthew Farwell was having with Sandra when it was going on in those early 2010, 11, 12, 13?
You know, I'm not going to comment on information that's not in the public record. As you heard, this is an ongoing matter, so we're going to continue to look into this matter. And if there's other individuals that we develop evidence they've violated the federal law, we'll proceed.
Josh, can you touch on, I mean, murder, state usually is the one that handles murder charges. Obviously, feds have jurisdiction on many cases, but what made this one get to federal authorities? And do you think that the state officials watched this investigation?
You know, there's a lot of overlap in the law between the federal government has jurisdiction over and what the state government has jurisdiction over. When someone comes to our office with credible information that a police officer may have been involved in a murder and underlying legal violations as set forth in the indictment, we're going to investigate that case every time. They come in different shapes and sizes, but that is our duty to the public, is to pursue credible leads like that and investigate them fully.
To follow up on her question, we saw Lieutenant Toledo said earlier, this was Norfolk case first. You mentioned that they've been state partners throughout this. Does your office look into what may have went wrong in their investigation?
This case about what went wrong for Sandra Birchmore and how she was treated by Matthew Farwell and how he violated her rights and ultimately killed her. That's what this case is about. It's not about what happens at other state agencies. This is about justice for Sandra Birchmore.
This is the second major death investigation where your office has come to a different conclusion than Norfolk County DA. I'm sure you can't comment on that, but is that normal for federal prosecutors and state prosecutors to reach different conclusions on investigations?
So I'm here to talk about one case. We got about 1,000 cases in the office. I'm not going to comment on any other case in the office. I would just caution you to not extrapolate too much from one case out of all the things that are happening in our office.
Thank you. It's about Sandra Birchmore.
I can't think of any others.
Keep it about Sandra, please.
I don't know the answer to that. That's a question. That's an answer we could get for you, but I don't know the answer to it, Shelley. We bring charges of obstruction of justice frequently, as you know, but I'm not pulling one off the top of my head that matches this. Sorry. That's okay. Yeah, I'm not in a position to comment on things that aren't in the public record. That I wouldn't take that as yes or no. But I'm limited up here under local rules to talk about what's in the public record.
Can you talk about the arrest? What happened with the arrest this morning?
I'm going to ask ASAC Kelleher to speak to that.
Big ass raid.
So this morning we had a SWAT team that was in a location where Mr. Farwell was. He was taken into custody. He was driving a truck, gravel hauler, and he was safely taken into custody by the SWAT team, which is, what we strive to achieve every time we do an operation like this. No, he was in Revere.
Nothing in the neighborhood in Revere, was he on the highway?
No, it was in the shopping plaza in Revere.
Did he say anything?
We have not tried to interview him.
That dump truck you're driving, is that his new employment? presumably?
Again, I wouldn't comment on that here at this time, but he was driving the dump truck when he was arrested.
Before your agency got involved, there were other agencies investigating this. Can we expect to see any fallout from those lead investigators from other agencies who were responsible for finding justice in this case?
I think the juncture we're at right now is that we are working with state agencies. We've developed, as I said, new information that we're going to share with our state partners. They're going to make decisions about what charges are appropriate under state law, if any.
Can you tell us who the lead investigator was in this case before your agency got involved?
I can tell you the lead investigator was for our matter, which was the FBI. I don't know. I honestly don't have information on who the lead was in a state investigation. I don't get that type of information.
You've said that you're not, you're looking just to investigate Sandra Birchmore's death. That's the focus of this case, not what law enforcement agencies prior to you did. Is that within your jurisdiction to investigate what those state agencies did?
I think what I said was I'm here to talk about Sandra Birchmore, and I'm not here to talk about other things that are happening in the United States Attorney's Office. It's 125 federal prosecutors doing a lot of different things. In this case, this press conference is about one young woman who we allege was killed by a Stoughton police officer.
God damn it,
How
dude.
your investigation might be complicated by the fact that you're going now into federal court where there is this, and you found that it was suicide, the Norfolk County DA's office opted not to pursue it. How does that affect your efforts now to prosecute?
Yep. Good question. Look, in evaluating whether to bring charges, we obviously look at all the evidence that's both incriminating and exculpatory. All that gets turned over to defense lawyers. Mr. Farwell will be well represented in this case, and those facts will be put out in front of a jury. We are confident that when all the evidence is presented to a jury, if it gets that far, that those issues will not prevent us from securing a conviction.
Have you done your own, have your own person do an autopsy?
We,
That's come to a different conclusion? I know there's another one out there that's already been reported on.
That's correct. There's an expert witness. I don't want to get into exactly what that person did or didn't because I don't want to mischaracterize it, but it's in the court documents. Who has a tremendous amount of experience in this field and has reached a different conclusion.
Just a couple more questions. And just to be clear, you're not going to comment on the other two officers who had sexual relations with these Birchmore?
That's correct.
How unusual is it for a police officer to be charged with a capital offense involving sex with a minor?
It's unusual in my experience. I don't have a full handle on how often this has been done nationwide, but it's an unusual situation. And that's partly why it's so incredibly disturbing.
Anyone else?
Do you have any words of caution to departments that
Thank you,
have
Couch.
police explorer programs based on what you learned from your investigation about how this was able to unfold?
Yeah, I'm going to stick to my swim lane. I'm not an expert on police explorer programs. And so I really don't have any intelligent answer to that question.
Thank you.
All right, boy, that is so fulfilling. That is so fulfilling in so many ways. A cop who abuses his authority and his power and does what he did. I mean, this started when she was a little girl. I mean, 16 years old. Oh, this whole case, I'm so happy that an indictment came down on this thing. This case is unreal. But federal cases, like I was saying before the presser started, look, the feds don't play. It is a different beast entirely than state policing agencies. The feds come with the receipts in every single case. They never limp into a case. They have outstanding U.S. attorneys that try these cases. They've got all the resources that you could ever want in terms of the government, in terms of making sure that these cases are in stone. So do not be surprised.
Oh, sorry.
Do not be surprised at all that this case is going to get pled out.
Hey, unless another cop in this sex ring did it.
Sex ring.
I don't know. Cammy told me, I have a friend that lives in Boston. She told me, I want to be out and that there was like a ring of cops abusing and grooming kids. And like this one girl got pregnant, so she was killed.
Wow.
So if he didn't kill
I don't
her-
know about all that. I don't know. Plead out means that it never goes to trial, Shiva. That means that he takes a plea agreement. The federal sentencing guidelines are another different beast in terms of sentencing in state cases. Allison just went through the whole federal sentencing guidelines on her case down in Florida. And again,
You
I mean-
always get points off for early acceptance of responsibility.
yeah, I mean, they give you carrots if you accept responsibility. If there is something going on, like what Allison was talking about, if he starts rolling on people, if he cooperates,
Way more time off.
there could be some leverage for him. But ultimately, number one, they do not televise or stream federal cases. Sometimes you'll get audio, and that's probably after the fact. But this thing is not going to be something that we're going to be watching hearings on. The feds, as much as I'm always bitching and complaining that we need to have transparency in cases, the feds keep it pretty tight, pretty close to the vest.
We could probably get a lot of the hearings by audio and do it for our podcast.
All right, so we do have a verdict in Tell Us. That is coming up. Oh, thank you so much, Bonnie Bailey. Me too. I think we all are. Like this case was so under the radar. It was really, in Allie was right. I saw her. I was typing the same thing. Don't confuse it. This investigation was going on long before they started looking into whatever may have been going on in Karen Reed in terms of law enforcement and their investigation in that case. This case was being heavily dug into when they saw some overlap between some of the cops that were involved in that case and the cops and departments that were involved in this case. That made them start. Yeah, they.
Possible. There was
I can't talk with you talking at the
Oh,
same
sorry.
time. Can't do it. That's like,
Oh, I have your coffee too.
oh, you're the best. I love you. Thank you. Thank you for bringing me food. All right. So what I thought we could do, y'all. So we've got about just over 40 minutes before we get the verdict over in Tejas. Dizzy, who for whatever reason can't get on. I don't know why. I guess there's some kind of issue with. Thankfully, I'm able to stream. And she's got all access. I don't know why she's not able to log on. I guess maybe only the person who created the stream can get on. I'm curious to see if Allie can get on because she's got the same. Thank you. She's got the same. Dizzy couldn't get on. There's an issue with StreamYard right now.
Do you want me to get on?
What a wife. Where'd you get this from? Feels
Sweet.
feels like a huge sugar bomb. It's quite delicious. It is?
Yeah.
Even the cream. What did you get?
Oat milk. So maybe.
Oat milk's got a shit ton of sugar. There are issues with StreamYard login. Okay. Well, I knew it wasn't Dizzy not being competent because she's, quite frankly, the most competent person I know. So I knew it wasn't Dizzy. All right, let me pull up this document that I want to pull up, which Dizzy sent me, of course. Huh? Oh, I don't know. I was panicking. I thought Diz was going to be in here because you weren't home. And I thought Dizzy would be in here trying to find the stream because I wanted to read the indictment. And then time caught up to me and I was panicking. I had to go to Melanie's thing. What is that? Okay. That was not something I want to listen to. All right. Let me pull this up. What she sent me. So in federal courts, it's not an issue of bond. Okay. It's an issue of detention, whether or not they're going to be willing to allow you to be out while the case is pending. There's a bunch of steps you have to go through. So I thought it would be very interesting to read the detention memo. It's lengthy, but it's got a ton of information. It's what, all right, let's see. I'm going to pull it up. I think it'll be an interesting read. I think you guys it'll have more. It's 18 pages as opposed to the 4-page indictment. All right, enable scrolling. Should be scrolling. Okay. All right. So this is the U.S. motion for and memorandum in support of pretrial detention, meaning they want to keep his ass in custody, that they're not going to allow him out walking the streets while this thing is pending. All right. So defendant Matthew Farwell, a former Stoughton police officer, has been charged with killing Sandra Birchmore to prevent her from communicating information about his commission or possible commission of federal crimes in violation of 18 U.S.C. 1512A1C. The government moves to detain Farwell pending trial because he is a danger to the community. I would say so. And poses a serious risk of flight and obstruction. The court is authorized to conduct a detention hearing and detain Farwell on, Allie can get on each of those independent bases because Farwell has been charged with a crime of violence that carries a mandatory life sentence. See 18 U.S.C. 3142 F1A, B, and 3142 F2A and B. First, there is a serious risk that if released, the defendant will obstruct. Talk about obstructing justice. I mean, the guy faked a suicide in order to try to get away with this horrific crime. Will obstruct or attempt to obstruct justice. That risk is not merely theoretical. Oh, he's going to say it right here. On February 1, 2021, Farwell killed Birchmore, a young pregnant woman who he had spent years sexually exploiting. Farwell's grisly crime was designed to conceal forever the truth about his years of criminal conduct targeting Birchmore. Moreover, even apart from his murder of Birchmore, Farwell has tried to destroy and conceal evidence of his criminal conduct. Prior to her death, Farwell instructed Birchmore to delete her phone evidence that he had sexual intercourse with her before her 16th birthday. After the murder, he researched how to delete data from his own phone, and he took steps to conceal the murder, including by repositioning Birchmore's lifeless body and staging her apartment to make the young man's death appear to be a suicide, and lying to Massachusetts State Police detectives who were initially responsible for investigating Birchmore's death. You know what just makes me so sick about this is that this guy's a cop. I mean, you guys are always hearing me talk about cops and how much power they have, that badge and that gun, and just what it allows them to do and how much free reign it gives them, how many lives they can destroy. I mean, like this type of thing is beyond. It is such a breach of his duty. It is such a disgusting, just disgusting abuse of his power. It's like, you know, crimes, you know, why they hammer teachers when they're preying on kids that they're teaching. It's the same thing with cops. Any position where you have power and authority over somebody else and you use that power and authority in order to benefit yourself is the worst. It's just the absolute worst. I can't even. Here, let me try to blow this up a little more so y'all can read along with me. Okay. That's better. Okay, second, Farwell's release would pose a profound danger to the community. He has been charged with the intentional premeditated murder of a young person he knew for years. He strangled her to death when he knew that she was several weeks pregnant. He did so while he was serving as a police officer. And after using that position of trust and authority to groom and sexually exploit her for years, beginning when she was just 15 years old, there are no conditions of release that will protect the community from a defendant whose conduct reveals such an indifference to human life. I mean, you can just tell when you're reading documents prepared by U.S. attorneys in comparison to the stuff that you read from state prosecutors. There's just a vast difference in terms of the ability to write legally. They're very, very good. Third, Farwell is a serious risk of non-appearance. As described in detail below, the murder followed a report to Stoughton police that disclosed aspects of Farwell's illicit sexual relationship with Birchmore. With Farwell on notice that he could soon face consequences for his criminal conduct, he decided to kill Birchmore. Today, the potential consequences could hardly be more severe or imminent. Farwell faces a mandatory life sentence for killing Birchmore. The weight of the evidence is overwhelming. These circumstances provide him with a significant disincentive to appear for trial. As such, there are no conditions that will reasonably assure that he will appear at trial to face the evidence and the consequences of his conduct. Statement of facts. See, we're about to get it all here. This thing's going to have all of it. The government proffers the following facts in support of its motion to detain the defendant and submits the supporting declaration of FBI Special Agent Shanae Castrutia, Oh, I hope I don't have to say her name because I think I butchered both the first and the last name. Shanae seems right. Castrutia. I'm going to go with that. If Agent Castrutia is watching this, I apologize if I just butchered your name. Roman numeral 1, the defendant. Farwell is 38 years old and resides in Northeastern Mass with his spouse and children. Wow, he's married. Both he and his spouse possess license to carry firearms. There are 10 firearms registered to the home address. And there's a footnote. We'll get to it. The defendant's professional background, Roman numeral 2. Farwell served in the U.S. Army from 2004 to 2008. During that time, he served as an explosives expert. Farwell became a sworn police officer in 2008. He served from 2008 to 2012 as a police officer for the town of Wellesley, Massachusetts. On March 27th of 2012, Farwell became a Stoughton police officer, a position he held until he resigned on April 1 of 2022. While a member of the Stoughton Police Department, Farwell also served as a firearms and explosives instructor. Roman numeral 3, the Stoughton Police Explorers Academy. Prior to 2017, the Stoughton Police Department operated the Stoughton Police Explorers Academy, hereinafter the Police Explorers, a quasi-paramilitary program designed to expose youth participants to various aspects of policing. So, for instance, my daughter, Cameron, not Scarlett, my 18-year-old, was in the exact same program or the exact same version of this program at her school that was also trained by, instructed by cops. So Farwell was a volunteer for the program when he was a Wellesley police officer. After he joined the Stoughton Police Department, Farwell became a police explorers instructor. In March of 2012, Birchmore applied to be a participant in the Police Explorers. At that time, she was 12 years old. She began participating in the program in and around the spring of 2010. These are the two footnotes. The government proffers this information at this time. If necessary, the government will provide evidence at the detention hearing. Footnote 2 is the same. What a scumbag. She remained in the program through 2016. Farwell and her instructor during that time. Farwell was her instructor during that time period. The offense, Roman numeral 4, Farwell groomed and sexually exploited Birchmore when she was a child, underlined for emphasis. Stoughton, thank you. As a police officer, or is it Stoughton? Stoughton.
All right,
Free bird. This is Stoughton.
Come on.
I was wondering that before I went in. But we all agree that phonetically it's Stoughton, correct? I mean, I can't help you all butcher shit in the Northeast. As a police officer, Farwell groomed and sexually exploited Birchmore when she was a child. As early as 2012, he began communicating with Birchmore online, including befriending her on Facebook. What a sleazeball. At the time, he was 26 years old. She was just 15. What a sicko. Ugh. While using the internet to lay the groundwork for
AKA a federal offense.
There you go. Farwell would also meet Birchmore at the Stoughton.
Move on.
Stoughton. Am I saying it right? Stoughton. All right. Babe, can you read for a minute? I got to take a real quick call.
Yeah, but I can't scroll.
Oh, here, I'll email it to you real quick. I got to take a quick call. And I want to keep this moving. All right, hold on. Let me get over here. God damn it. Okay, I'm forwarding it to you right now.
Which email address?
Which one do you have the easiest access? Like,
the
what
office.
do you have?
My computer, the office.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna read until you get it up.
All right, I gotta let your dad. Hold on.
Okay, while using the internet to lay the groundwork for his child exploitation, Farwell would also meet Birchmore at the Stoughton Public Library. or Stoughton, where he would sexually, like, just be prepared for Allison to butcher this too. Stoughton or Stoughton?
Oh my goodness. How are they answering that question anyway? It's audio.
Everyone in the chat, like, people
How?
started screaming me at the chat. They're spelling it phonetically for me. So Stoughton. So Stoughton seems right, or Stoughton. All right.
You're
So they would
killing me.
also meet Birchmore at the Stoughton Public Library, where he would sexually groom her under the guise of providing academic tutoring. Ultimately, he engaged in sex acts with Birchmore, violating the Massachusetts statutory rape law by having sexual intercourse with her in 2013 when she was 15. This act of statutory rape had several attendant aggravating factors, such as the age disparity between Farwell and Birchmore, and Farwell's position of power and trust. B, Farwell continued to exploit Birchmore when she became an adult. Farwell continued having sex with Birchmore after she became an adult, and while he remained employed as a police officer, building off the years of grooming. Farwell later cultivated a controlling and sometimes abusive relationship with Birchmore. He tracked her location with his cell phone, and as voluminous text messages demonstrate, he engaged in sexual violence. C, Farwell had sex with Birchmore while on duty. Farwell exploited Birchmore while on duty as a police officer. At times, he met Birchmore to have sex with her while he was on duty and being paid by the town of Stoughton. I'm never going to get that right. Of course, these are facts that Farwell concealed from the Stoughton Police Department in an effort to continue receiving his salary, notwithstanding his misconduct. D, in December of 2020, Farwell.
I got it up, babe.
Oh, perfect. Is it up? Is that
It
yours?
shows I'm sharing it.
Okay. I'm going to pull my stop. I'm going to stop mine. Got it? Make it bigger.
All right, where were you?
Paragraph D, page 5. Paragraph D, page 5. All right, y'all. I'll be back in a minute.
Still open? Let's see. It's not. Why is it showing that? It's not showing on my side like that. Let me figure this out. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. I don't know what happened. Huh. Okay, now it's working. All right, where was he? Anybody know? Let's see. I heard him say D. All right, I'm going with D. Unless someone tells me otherwise, I think that's the last thing I heard him say. Page 5, somebody says. Okay, is this page 5? Yep, page 5. All right. So I'm going to continue from D, even though I don't know. He might have been further along. December 2020, Farwell learned that he had impregnated Birchmore. And I guess I should have been listening better for how you guys decided I think it was Stoughton. So I'm going to go with that. In October 2020, Birchmore told Farwell that she wanted a child of her own. Farwell and Birchmore reached an agreement. He would try to impregnate Birchmore in exchange for her silence about his criminal conduct. That's the most bizarre thing I ever heard. And years-long extramarital affair. What? In December 2020, just a month before Birchmore died, she learned that she was pregnant. Birchmore told Farwell that he was the child's father, and Farwell responded poorly. He became physically violent with Birchmore. She told multiple friends that Farwell had pushed and shoved her, grabbed objects from her hand, and put her in a chokehold. E. In January 2021, Farwell learned that information about his years-long illicit sexual contact with Birchmore had been disclosed to the Stoughton Police Department and others. In January of 2021, Farewell learned that despite Birchmore getting the pregnancy she wanted, he would not be able to control her or the information that she possessed about his crimes. On January 20, 2021, a friend of Birchmore's called the Stoughton Police Department and disclosed information about Farewell's sexual contact with Birchmore. When Stoughton Police Department employee told him about the call, Farewell again responded poorly. He angrily demanded that the employee never tell anyone about the information. Exhibit A, which we'll get to, it's an affidavit. F, in late 2021, Farewell began planning the murder of Sandra Birchmore. By late 2021, text messages between Farwell and Birchmore reveal that Farwell was enraged about what he perceived as Birchmore not upholding her end of the pregnancy for silence agreement. I'm sorry, people, but I cannot believe that some officer thought a pregnancy for silence agreement where there's a living, breathing person whose DNA proves your crime is a good idea. But I digress. So, moreover, he had learned that Birchmore had shared with at least one other person some of the incriminating details about his sexual relationship with Birchmore. I don't even like them calling it a sexual relationship. Why not just keep calling it sexual abuse? Sexual abuse. And that information had been disclosed to his employer, a law enforcement agency. In a text on January 2021, he asked Birchmore, "What else do I have to worry about now? Which other friends will do something tomorrow?" In allusion to his fear that she may disclose more information about his possible commission of federal crimes, coercion and enticement, deprivation of rights under the color of law, and wire fraud. On January 24th, 2021, Farewell started to take important steps to obstruct justice by killing Birchmore. He asked Birchmore for a key to her apartment after previously being reluctant to having in his possession that kind of tangible proof of their relationship. And he asked Birchmore to keep it a secret that she had given him the key. On January 26, 2021, Farewell also started casing Birchmore's apartment for the future crime scene, searching for places to carry out the murder. He inspected her bathroom and closet, places where items could be hung. His behavior was strange enough that Birchmore told multiple friends that she was concerned. G, on February 1st, 2021, Farewell went to Birchmore's apartment wearing a mask and strangled her to death using a duffel bag strap. My God. On February 1st, 2021, Farewell decided to act. For him, that day provided at least two advantages. A blizzard was approaching Greater Boston, ensuring that no one would notice Birchmore's absence from work for several days. And Farewell's wife was hours away from delivering their third child. Therefore, Farewell texted Birchmore to tell her that he was coming to her apartment. He entered her apartment wearing a face mask, despite being well known as a resistant COVID mask. Despite being well known as a resistant to COVID-19 mask mandates. Yeah, he was against those. So why is he wearing a mask? And he murdered Birchmore, the 23-year-old pregnant woman he had exploited for years and used for years by strangling her to death within minutes of silencing Birchmore. Video surveillance footage shows him leaving her apartment. What in the hell? See, this just speaks to the fact that he thinks or knows or knew that his fellow police officers would have his back and nothing, no matter how much evidence and proof there was, nothing would come of him. V, and guys, Bob uses two screens. I only use one, so I'm definitely not also reading what you guys are putting in chat. So, in addition to the obstruction crime alleged in the indictment, there is evidence that Farewell took steps to conceal his criminal conduct before Birchmore's death and later to obstruct the murder investigation. A, Farewell directed Birchmore to delete electronic evidence of his crimes. Before Farewell killed Birchmore, Farewell directed her to delete evidence of their sexual relationship. This was evidence that he raped Birchmore when she was 15 and that he had engaged in sexual violence. For example, in February of 19, Farwell exchanged texts with Birchmore in which they discussed her virginity, and he acknowledged that it was a big thing to get to be the first. In March of 2019, the defendant asked Birchmore, "What would you have done if we never used a condom and I pulled out?" Birchmore reassured Farwell that she still would have finished school. A few months after that, on June 5th, 2019, Farwell directed Birchmore to make sure all of their text and Facebook messages had been deleted because he thinks deletion works. Cops are so stupid sometimes. In another text conversation, Farwell discussed the first time he and Birchmore had sex. Farwell sent a text indicating he would have liked to have sex with Birchmore when she was even younger, saying, "You should have told me, you could have fucked so much sooner." Ugh. After sending that text, Farwell quickly instructed Birchmore, clear that out part out, baby. Clear that part out, baby. And when she confirmed that she did so, he texted, "Good girl." Farwell also wanted to ensure that Birchmore would delete the deleted text messages in which they discussed his violence. For example, on March 19, 2019, the defendant sent Birchmore a text about his desire to use sexual violence and to pretend to rape her. At the end of this conversation, Farwell sent a text instructing her to clear out this text. B. Farwell tried to prevent a Stoughton Police Department employee from further discussing information about his crimes and immediately confronted Birchmore for sharing incriminating information. In the weeks before Birchmore's murder, Farwell previewed some of the steps he would take to prevent witnesses from disclosing information about his crimes. On January 20th, 2021, Farwell reacted angrily when Pearson 5, then an employee of the Stoughton Police Department, confronted him about a call he/she received. Oh, person 5, sorry, meaning like the source 5, so person 5. Never to mention he or she received regarding his illicit sexual relationship with Birchmore. Farwell directed person 5 never to mention the topic to him again and not to tell anyone else. We'll get to his or her affidavit. Farwell then began frantically texting with Birchmore. He wrote, "You also told me no one knew about us yet. So-and-so claimed we are fucking. You have no idea how bad what this person did is. I literally can't believe this is even real life. Like, what else do I have to worry about now? Which other friends will do something tomorrow?" Within days of the foregoing text messages, Farwell was asking Birchmore to give him a key to her apartment, but keep it secret. Within days, he was scoping out her closets and bathroom, and within 12 days, Birchmore was dead. After killing Birchmore, Farwell repositioned her body and staged it to make it appear that Birchmore had committed suicide. After killing Birchmore, Farwell moved her lifeless body and staged her apartment to conceal his crime by making it appear she died by suicide. As described in far more detail in Exhibit A, notwithstanding the fact that the first responders found Birchmore in a seated position with a strap around her neck and the doorknob, Dr. William Smock determined that Birchmore's death was a homicide. Dr. Smock cited Birchmore's bone fracture, that the pattern imprint injury on her chest, abrasions on her nose, and the broken necklace, among other evidence that led him to conclude with a reasonable degree of medical certainty that Birchmore's death was a homicide. These specific injuries and the evidence are consistent with Farwell suffocating Birchmore by strangulation and then hanging her lifeless body from the closet doorknob, which he had inspected days earlier to make it appear as though she took her own life. After the murder, Farwell searched for ways to conceal his years-long relationship with Birchmore and his communication with her on the day of the murder. After Birchmore's death, Farwell gave limited consent to search his personal cell phone to law enforcement officers who were investigating the death. However, on February 9th, 2021, Farwell used his work cell phone to make and delete 2 Google searches. First, he searched for and deleted, "Can delete iMessage be recovered by Celebrate?" Celebrate is a tool that forensic examiners use to extract data from cell phones. Then he searched for and deleted, "Can you revoke consent in Massachusetts?" Wow. See, I always struggle because police officers know so little about the law that it is sometimes Shocking. Like, he doesn't even know whether a person can revoke consent or not. And I've had cops here on behalf of like a defendant argue that I should make some sort of argument that made no sense. Whatever. Sorry, I digress. E. After the murder, Farwell lied to Massachusetts State Police detectives. After Farwell met with MSP detectives who were investigating Birchmore's death, he lied to them. His multiple false statements reveal deliberate effort to minimize his relationship with Birchmore and avoid consequences for his misconduct. Farwell falsely told detectives that his sexual relationship with Birchmore began in 2020. According to his own text messages with Birchmore, it actually began at 13 when she was 15. In 2013 when she was 15. Farwell falsely told detectives that he only had sex with Birchmore on 2 or 3 times in the previous year. According to text messages, he had sex with her at least 10 times in the 13 months prior to her death. Farwell falsely told detectives that the last time he had sex with Birchmore was in October of 2020, attempting to avoid suspicion about whether he was the father of her unborn child. However, text messages indicate that Farwell met with Birchmore to have sex after that date. Farwell falsely told detectives that he had not seen Birchmore in the week before her death. However, he visited her apartment on January 29th. Farwell falsely told detectives that he had been trying to distance himself from Birchmore. However, approximately 10 days before her death, he asked for a key to his apartment and told her he would come over to give her hugs. About 3 days before her death, Farwell told her that he would engage in sexual activity with her. Paragraph 6, Farwell additional evidence regarding the danger Farwell poses to the community. A. Farwell has a long track record of using physical and sexual violence. Text messages show that the defendant physically abused Birchwell on at least 20 occasions in just the year before her death. Farwell sent Birchmore a text stating that he would grab her by the throat, pin her down by the throat, squeeze her throat, and choke her during sexual activity. For example, less than 4 months before her death, Farwell told Birchmore that their next sexual encounter, he was going to grab her throat and say, "Shut the fuck up now or I won't pull out." Okay. In November of 2020, Farwell told Birchmore, "Maybe I'll hold you down by the throat while I pound you." Then he then reflected on how tight he should squeeze, texting that he wanted her to feel like, "OMG, this is really happening and I can't stop it." Farwell's penchant for violence is confirmed by Birchmore's disclosure to friends that the defendant assaulted her in the weeks before her death. Additionally, text messages between Farwell and Birchmore's own journal reveal entries that reveal Farwell's efforts to punish her with violent sex acts. This violent sexual punishment started as early as 2013 and continued till 2020. The evidence indicates that the defendant used violent sex acts to punish Birchmore for getting bad grades, lying to him, or being sexually active with other people. The evidence indicates that Farwell's efforts to control Birchmore also included directing her to her phone to share her location with him and admonishing her when she failed to do so. Farwell had also demonstrated preoccupation with sexual assault in a number of ways. First, Farwell's texts with Birchmore include numerous discussions about him forcing her to engage in certain sex acts. Farwell also asked Birchmore on multiple occasions to act as if he were raping her when they had sex. For example, in one conversation on November 8th, 2020, text conversation, Farwell told Birchmore that he enjoyed having sex with her. When Birchmore asked what would be perfect for him, he replied, "You say no and make me take it." Full R word. Additionally, Birchmore's journals detail sexual violence that she suffered at the hands of Farwell as means of punishment. Finally, Farwell's iCloud account contained images that confirmed his interest in domestic and sexual violence, including strangulation. For example, his iCloud contained the following: a meme containing a photo of a woman with tape over her mouth that states, "Duct tape turning no, no, no," into since 1942. Wow. And an image that states, when she says, "Choke me, daddy," and you get carried away and now she's dead. What in the hell? What is this, some dark underground secret web shit where people are sharing these images? I feel like all these criminals know something we don't know, and that either the cops know and use, and that's why they don't mention it, or they don't know either. A screenshot of an image of a woman saying that she could not sleep, followed by a man choking her saying, "Good night, bitch," and a meme glorifying a person who kills and sexually abuses people who, quote, "no one will miss." Jesus, where's all of this perverse shit happening and exchanging? Like, they're creating memes and stuff. Okay, B. Farewell has demonstrated sexual interest in children. Well, clearly. Farewell is a danger to children. He committed statutory rape under Massachusetts law, having sex with Birchmore when she was 15. That's just statutory? What? In the text message with Birchmore, he romanticizes the statutory rape by discussing the first time they knew they were going to have sex and his regret that they did not have sex earlier in 2012. All right, we got to take a break. Tellez is live. All right. Diz, where do I go to? Whatchamacallit? Long crime. Here we go. Is this right now? No, day 2. Long crime. Live. Verdict watch. All right. God damn it. How do I boost this freaking thing? And I click on this thing. Volume boost it. I can't hear. Oh, nothing's on yet. I'm just going to assume that this is violent boosted enough. Nothing's happening yet. They're walking around the courtroom. Hold on. Now I need to come back to here and stop screen sharing. Share my screen. All right. And all right, let me fix that so we don't see all the comments on the side, blah, blah, blah. X off that. Click this little theater mode thing. Boom, look at that. And come back to you guys. Oh, I hit the wrong button. I lost you. Oh, here you are. All right. Bum, bum, bum. Man, I wonder if it's going to be not guilty. I mean, it could so much be. I'm kidding. But, I mean, something said for all of this. All right, hold on a sec. I got to get my father-in-law. Hold on. Bob's like, we have 4 minutes. They're not going to read it. until noon. Just seeing if you guys said anything in your chat. There's no way it's not guilty. There's literally no way. I was kidding. Let me tell the Twitter universe. Thank Larry for Allie. Thanks, Larry, for letting us know. Yeah, I know nothing that has been going on, by the by. Like, I know when he testified and I got on and then I listened to more of his testimony. I don't think I saw his whole cross-examination. I saw none of his re-narrative direct. And I know nothing that the jury has asked. I'm just shocked that it has gone this long. And even when y'all played back, Bob went through the closings, I'm still again, fascinated how the lawyer can just gloss over things. We actually stopped when he got to the part of, these people were all trainees, but I don't know what other issues he put out there as far as the DNA. All right, let's share this thing. Oh, did we get 268 likes, 413 people. Come on, y'all. You can do better for me. I'm going to share this thing on X. Oh, boy. It's not even exciting, kind of, because we know the answer. And I don't know, we know it's a verdict. They wouldn't have said it's a verdict if it's a hung jury. Okay, so verdict is in. Oh, I gotta fix this little overlay thing. Oh, here we go. Did I touch it? Tellez. Oh yeah, this is Tellez. Why do we still have Dizzy's comment up there? I gotta hit something else. There we go. What the hell? Verdict is in. Robert Tellez.
Wow, it's I'm trying to handle something there, and it's you're freaking
I just
out.
wanted to know if you knew. I'm sorry, Bay.
I knew. That was if I'm dipping on a live,
It's important. Yeah, I know. Sorry.
So, did you finish reading that?
No.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mute yourself while you scream.
Sorry.
Wow, that's how comfortable we've gotten with being on lives, our family shit. Just scream, that's what our house is like. That's our communication. We scream to one another from different levels instead of texting. Oh, I know she has. I had no doubt. Yeah, I don't know if there was a height analysis of Orange Man. I think he didn't look to be a hulking figure. He looked to be, I don't know, 5'6".
That's why I thought he had it all plotted out. He probably would have worn. A lot of people did go give more thumbs up while we're waiting here.
See, Allie checks when she says she's going to check.
Thanks for those who did.
Yeah, we appreciate.
Well, I went and shared the stream on X, so that's when I did my little check. I was like, oh, how many? I also checked Houseplant, but they didn't really get any more subscribers.
Oh, hey, are you on full screen? Doesn't look like you are.
I thought I did. I was like, here, boom, boom, boom.
Here, let me.
That was really.
Oh
no, I got it.
Boop.
Oh wow!
Wow!
I had mine boosted, so now.
Wow!
All right, I'll click stop sharing.
Wow! All right, mine'll because I'm better at pausing when you want to talk.
Who
You know
wants
what I
to
mean?
pause? I'll pause if I want to talk. Oh, I can see all the people in the gallery here. They're really zooming in. They're like, let's show you guys all the people who came to hear the verdict.
How about there's Matt Johnson. He's in there.
Is that the long crime guy with the part on his head?
Yeah, with the the quaff. Lindsay. $10 hollow. Appreciate you guys. I'm with you, Allie. This was a terrible plan on his part. I wonder if his wife stayed with him once everyone realized he was a murderer. Are you talking about Tellez? No, I think
Yeah.
she filed for the big D. Pretty sure. Don't quote me on that, though. I could be wrong. I'm fairly certain that the big D.
I am starting to get convinced that he decided, because he said he had a big background in tech, that he decided to kill under the plan of he was going to frame himself because of this story of this. I don't know. I'm starting to think that might have been his like.
Well, so if that has legs, like, is he aware of the fact that he's being
Oh,
investigated?
Allie, you are so
like
loud.
completely. Yeah, you are pretty loud, babe. I had to turn down my my volume because you were blasting me out, and I'm just listening through my computer.
Oh, that's because I put the thingy on. I don't know. I'm gonna turn this thingy off.
Yeah, for Tay, I had it on too for the presser. I had to dip into Melanie's stream because I was panicking.
She said okay to that, or you just did it? And can someone tell me if that got any better? Because I don't know how to.
Well, yeah, why wouldn't she say like we're homies? Like,
Well, I know. I
it
just
was
didn't know if
her
you checked with-
stream. It was like I kept her face up there,
I know. I saw her face. I was like, oh, Melanie's on, because I was driving, and I was like, wait.
and then I dipped
no.
over to.
Wait, how's the
Crowd
sound?
Video.
Did it change? Anybody? Cat Grove says better. Did it get any different?
Oh my God! So, yeah, that's correct. This is correct. He said that they were just being, Karens. That's what Tejas was saying. Oh,
They were just angry that he cut back on all the overtime.
Oh, pepper pot. Say pepper pot, babe. You're gonna love it.
Pepper pot.
Oh, pepper pot. I love pepper pot.
Pot. I think that I'm not doing that anymore.
It could be the most fun name of all time to say pepper pot.
Well, Pepper Pot said the sound's perfect. So,
see, there you go.
The general consensus.
Oh, I thought she was talking about your pronunciation of pepper pot. She could have been.
Oh, I guess she could have. No, because it says sound, perfect sound. Is it that he's guilty and that he's going to be found guilty, and that at some point the jurors are going to talk and be like, there was just this one guy who really thought he had hair.
Yeah, right. There was definitely one holdout. I kept giving it was 12 Angry Men. There was the Henry Fonda character who's like, well, maybe we should talk about this a little bit. Maybe, and then he starts challenging the evidence a little bit. Gets a little pushback. I don't know. It was look. This is how it's supposed to be done. Like we've become accustomed to quick verdicts. That's not how it's supposed to be done. They're supposed to deliberate. They're supposed to challenge the evidence. They're supposed to go through it all. You want this happening in every case. You don't want, no matter how shitty the defendant is and how evident it is, you still want the jury going back there and doing their job. And
That's funny because I was thinking to myself in the car, like talking to myself, that if I know the chances are it's a federal case, this cop's going to plead out. But if he didn't, I was thinking, man, it's going to be hard to even
Schneider Cuter is just sitting there like,
cited.
This is
cited on that.
This is insane. I cannot believe that they deliberated. That's what Schneider Cuter is just sitting there. And look, in cases like this, believe me when I tell you, both sides are shitting their pants. There is like time stops in the 5 seconds between when the clerk gets, the judge first looks at it, they hand it from the jury to the judge.
No way. This lawyer knows it's coming back guilty. He's just so happy it took this long to get there.
Who?
The defense attorney.
Ellis's guy?
Yeah.
No, he was fine after this guy like
Jury's
insisted
coming
on
back.
taking the stand. Over to cover
The
the
record
thing?
reflect that the hearing is taking place outside the presence of the jury panel. The court has marked as
Oh,
courts
Disney's not
exhibit
in here.
27 and 28 notes received from the jury panel. Does the state want to say anything?
No, Your Honor.
The defense?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, at this time, we can bring the jury panel in.
See, this is why we need Disney. She can move it so it blocks it. Like, I don't know how to do any of that shit, babe.
I do. What do you need to do? You trying to move our
Block
faces
the
over?
LNC thing over the. Oh, there you go. You're a champion. You're the best. God, I love you. I mean, seriously.
I love you.
My wife was out, had to go to court. Stops and gets us brekkie. Brings me a brekkie bowl. Gives me a sweet kiss. Runs down, starts like reading the documents so that I can take the call and snarf.
They know all of it. Actually, they were here for it all.
Oh, they saw it all. That's right.
They saw it all.
I like to restate it because
I'm
I
leaving,
like
guys, after this verdict. 'Cause I have
profess
work to
my
do.
love. Wait, where you going? What? Where you going?
To finish my work.
Oh God.
I'll wait till the verdict comes. I mean, not like I'm surprised, but I'm just in case somehow the world's flipped upside down.
Yeah. Holy shit, my head would explode.
But I was starting to say, like, I wonder if I'd be able to even look at things from the defense perspective, like saying just like, you know, the law that protects the defendant and blah, blah, blah. If the raping, murdering cop were to go to actual trial, which I know isn't going to happen anyway, but that's what my mind was thinking about. Like, you just be like, kill him now.
String him up!
Due process my ass.
Miss Jones wants to go to work with the alley. I think you should send her that 300-page document, see if she can edit it for you.
Stop it. What? Come on. What's wrong with you?
What?
Thank you, everyone. Please be
I
seated.
can't help that you write
Does the state
novels.
stipulate to the presence of the panel as well as the two alternates? Mr. Gaskin?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Juror number 2, have you been selected to be the foreperson?
Yes.
Has the
Oh,
jury
boy.
reached a verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
Will you please hand the verdict form to Officer Hawks?
Oh boy.
I'm just here for the faces.
What happens if he peels that thing off like a mask?
And he's like, if I'm going down, so's the rest of the Illuminati.
Yeah. I'm the public administrator. You can't do this to me.
Why isn't he like this?
Oh, read the verdict. What about the verdict?
Okay, the clerk will now read the verdict form out loud.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you know, buddy. Don't
The
even try to
defendant
fool
and his
yourself.
attorneys will stand for the reading of the verdict.
Yeah, stand up there, champ.
District Court, Clark County, Nevada, State of Nevada, Plaintiff versus Robert Tellis, Defendant, Case Number C-368935, Department Number 12, Verdict. We, the jury in the above entitled case, find the defendant, Robert Tellis, as follows. Murder with use of a deadly weapon, victim 60 years of age or older. Guilty of first-degree murder with use of a deadly weapon, victim 60 years of age or older. Special verdict. The jury unanimously finds the murder willful, deliberate, and premeditated. The jury unanimously finds the murder was committed by means of lying in wait. The jury unanimously finds the murder was committed by means of elder abuse.
Wait, so they could give him life?
Guilty of first-degree
I mean,
murder with
murder-
use of a deadly
that's-
weapon. Special verdict. The jury unanimously finds the murder willful, deliberate, premeditated. Do you want me to finish this?
Understand the attorney's approach for just a moment.
Thank you, Judge.
Because
Why? What's happening in the middle that they want to something happen?
What, in the middle of the polling? The judge
No,
doesn't
they
look-
haven't even started polling. In the middle of her reading the
she's
verdict.
like, look, it's the
There's
clerk
probably an
fucked up.
issue with
It was
they
actually
did
not
something wrong.
guilty.
No, they probably filled something out wrong on the verdict sheet and they got to go back. Yeah.
Oh, so I mean, look, they were diligent, and there had to have been one holdout, right? Had to have been one holdout.
I guarantee you, it's like someone who's still reeling from Reed, just wanting to find a conspiracy. Conspiracy's going to happen.
Man,
Because it's
I
like
mean,
now with the interwebs, people can be in any state and follow another trial.
yeah.
Dated this 28th day of August 2024, signed by foreperson, juror number 2. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are these your verdicts as read? So say you one, so say you all.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, the clerk is going to ask you a question. I just ask that you respond yes or no.
Juror number 1 is, are these your verdicts as read?
Yes.
Juror number 2, are these your verdicts as read? Juror number 3, are these your verdicts as read?
Yes.
Juror
Yeah, that
number
one
4,
guy
are
be like,
these your
"Oh."
verdicts as read?
Yes.
Juror number 5, are
Kind
these your
of.
verdicts as read?
Yes.
Juror number 6, are these your verdicts as read?
Yes.
Juror number 7, are these your verdicts as read?
Yes.
Juror number 8, are these your verdicts as read?
Yes.
Juror number 9, are these your verdicts as read?
Yes.
Juror number 10, are these your verdicts as read?
Yes.
Juror number 11, are these your verdicts as read?
Yes.
Juror number 12, are these your verdicts as read?
Yes.
Well, I didn't hear any
At this time,
hesitation.
the clerk will record the verdict in the official record of the court. And at this time, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, pursuant to your verdict, we will now go into the penalty phase of the trial. We're going to take a break and allow the attorneys to
What? Right now?
get prepared for that penalty phase. So we will start again at 1:30. At this time, you'll all be able to be back together again. You're going to go with the court officer back to
Same
the jury
jury.
deliberation room. And at 1:30, we will begin the penalty phase of this trial. Thank you very much. And
Y'all
you're
are
excused.
on your own for that.
Hey, I don't know if I'm going to watch the penalty phase.
Nobody
It's like,
wants to hear that. It's going to be
no
just
one wants to
tell
hear the penalty
Tayez
phase.
putting on family that say he's nice and wonderful and lovable and so
He has
sorry.
no family.
Oh,
I work for no
for
man.
no man.
All right. How far did you get in the document?
I have it up.
Because I'll
Ooh.
pick it up.
So we're on page 12, paragraph B.
Oh, you did good work. You were plowing through. Was it just as disturbing as all get out?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. I'm going past the choke me daddy. Ugh.
So I'm gonna take this. Bye-bye, Tellez.
Yeah.
All right, all.
I love you, honey. Thank you.
Love you, babe. Bye.
All right. Bye. Okay. I'll miss her. Okay. All right. So whereabouts was she at?
I was on at D.
Oh, D. Okay.
No, oh no, up. Right
C?
before the argument at sorry, B. You're right. You were right. Right.
B?
Yeah.
So he demonstrated sexual
Oh,
interest in
but
children.
by the way, I found it. Just go up and look at the things that they found right there. This last paragraph, finally, Farwell's iCloud account. And I was like, what's happening? Is there like a black web social media where these sickos are exchanging like
call
these
it the
kind of
dark web,
memes?
honey. The dark web.
What did I call it?
The black
dark
web, you called it. Wow.
the dark. I was realizing today my brain's not fully rebooted from not sleeping the other night. But all right,
No, you got
I'm
a
out.
good night's sleep, but you might have overslept because you slept.
No, it's like you're this old, you just can't do it.
I'm still a little foggy.
Goodbye.
Right. Love you. Bye. All right. So yeah, I'll start reading from here because I want to kind of read it too. All right. So finally, Farwell's iCloud account contained images that confirm his interest in domestic and sexual violence, including strangulation. For example, his iCloud contained the following: a meme containing a woman or a photo of a woman with tape over her mouth that states duct tape turning no, 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 and a since 1942. What a sick fuck. Are you kidding me? Wow. And an image that states, when she says, choke me, daddy, and you get carried away and now she's dead. Wow. This guy. A screenshot of an image of a woman saying that she could not sleep, followed by a man choking her saying, good night, bitch. And a meme glorifying a person who kills and sexually abuses someone who, quote, no one will miss. Well, I don't know about y'all, but in my history of using memes, have I never, ever, not only never sent a meme that even closely resembled anything, I've never even tried to look up a meme that, like, it's warped. It is just sick. What a sick bastard, man. And he's a cop. B, Farwell has demonstrated sexual interest in children. Farwell is a danger to children. He committed statutory rape under mass law by having sex with Birchmore when she was 15. In text messages with Birchmore, he romanticizes the statutory rape by discussing the first time that they knew they were going to have sex and his regret that they did not have sex earlier in 2012. Wow. Wow. And Farwell repeatedly disclosed to Birchmore his interest in having sex with children. Oh my God. Oh, and this guy had a gun and a badge. This guy had a gun and a badge. This guy had a gun and a badge and access to people's children. Oh man, it's so scary. This guy, like, if they don't, like, and I am no death penalty person. I am not. If you know anything about me, I think the cruelest, worst punishment is to keep somebody in a cage for their entire life. But this dude, nah, I mean, this kind of stuff. There has to be more, doesn't there? Doesn't there have to be more? So via text message, Farwell asked Birchmore to pretend that she was 13 or 14 years old when they were having sex. He also had Birchmore join his sexual role play in which he posed as her older brother. Oh my God. And simulate. I'm like getting physically ill. I'm getting like physically ill. Like I just ate a breakfast bowl and I'm having a hard time keeping it down. And simulated non-consensual incest. Farwell is a firearms and explosives expert with access to many guns. Farwell has extensive training regarding firearms and explosives, having served time in the Army as an instructor for the Stoughton Police Department. He has his license to carry a gun with 10 guns registered to his residence. The argument, Bail Reform Act, 18 U.S.C. 3142 authorizes the court to detain Farwell on 3 independent bases: danger to the community and risk of flight and obstruction. So Congress empowered judicial officers to release or detain defendants pending trial. See 18 U.S.C. 3141, Section A or A. Section 3142 governs pretrial detention determinations. 18 U.S.C. 3142. So under 3142 F1, the court shall hold a detention hearing upon the government's motion in a case that involves a crime of violence and one that involves an offense for which the maximum sentence in life is life imprisonment or death. Here, the charged offense, killing a victim or a witness pursuant to 18 U.S.C. 1512 A1C, satisfies both criteria. C 18 U.S.C. 3156 A4A, defining a crime of violence as an offense that has as an element of the offense the use, attempted use, or threatened use of physical force against the person or property of another. 18 U.S.C. 1512 A3A, quote, the punishment for an offense under this subsection is A, in the case of a killing, the punishment provided in sections 1111 and 1112 and C 18 U.S.C. 1111B, stating that the penalty for the first degree murder is death or mandatory life imprisonment. So under section 3142 F1, the court must determine whether the defendant is a danger to the community or a risk of flight. What do you mean there's got to be more? I think I missed something. I'm talking about, like, with this, like, do we really believe that this guy's sexual abuse was limited to just Sandra? I don't know. That's what I'm talking about more. So under section 3142 F1, the court must determine whether the defendant is a danger to the community or a risk of flight. Reasonably assure the appearance of such a person as required and the safety of any other person and the community. And pursuant to 3142 F2, the court must hold a detention hearing upon the government's motion or sua sponte, which means on the court's own motion, when the case involves, quote, a serious risk that the defendant will flee or, quote, a serious risk that the defendant will obstruct or attempt to obstruct justice. And that comes from 1842 or 18 USC 3142 F2 or US v. Montalvo Mario, 1990 case. The government must prove the defendant is a danger to the community, clear and convincing evidence. There's your burden there. The court applies a preponderance of the evidence standard in determining whether the defendant is a risk of flight or obstruction. So the defendant being a danger to the community has to be by clear and convincing, and whether the defendant is a risk of flight or obstruction is just a preponderance of evidence, which is lower. Okay. Moreover, like danger to the community and risk of flight, obstruction of justice is a standalone basis for detention pending trial. See U.S. v. Acevedo Ramos, a 1985 case. Quote, where the court finds the defendant's release creates an unusual risk of obstruction of justice, the Constitution and relevant statutes permit detention. And they also talk about John Gotti, U.S. v. Gotti, upholding detention after the district court found the defendant tampered with a witness in a state proceeding and stating that, quote, all bail decisions rest on predictions of a defendant's future behavior. It would be anomalous to hold that such predictions cannot rest on defendant's recent conduct in another proceeding, which may shed considerable light on his motive, capacity, and propensity to commit certain acts if free on bail. Importantly, quote, the extension of inherent powers to deny bail during trial to the pretrial period recognizes that unless the witnesses are protected before trial, they and their testimony will not be available at trial. And that's U.S. v. Grawi. I'm sure I'm butchering that name, 1982. So in evaluating whether conditions can reasonably be fashioned to eliminate the risks of danger, flight, or obstruction associated with releasing the defendant, the court must consider 1, the nature and circumstances of the offense, 2, the weight of the evidence, and 3, the defendant's history and personal characteristics, and 4, dangerousness. Paragraph or Roman numeral 2, the court should detain Farwell pending trial. Farwell killed a young person to cover up his own crimes that he committed while he was employed as a police officer. That chilling act of obstruction of justice followed his previous attempts to destroy evidence. In addition, Farwell is violent. He used that violence both to harm his victim while she was alive and to obstruct justice by killing her. In the end, his conduct was all designed to avoid accountability for his underlying crimes, which should also give the court grave concerns about whether he will appear for future proceedings. On this record, there are no conditions that can reasonably assure that the court that Farwell will not harm others, obstruct justice, or flee to avoid the consequences in this case. Accordingly, the court should detain him pending trial. So A, Farwell is a danger to the community. As a threshold matter, a murder charge, quote, weighs substantially in the favor of finding of future dangerousness. United States v. Zhang, 2022 case, affirming the decision not to reopen a detention hearing for a defendant who was charged with murder for hire. So murder, quote, by its nature involves violence and bespeaks danger to others, end quote. Here, the defendant took another person's life. That singular act demonstrates the risk that his release poses to the entire community. And that's 18 U.S.C. 3142 G1. But there is more to it. The evidence set forth in detail in Exhibit A describes the manner in which Farwell committed the murder. He got a key to Birchmore's apartment. He inspected the apartment to find an ideal place to commit the crime. He showed up during a snowstorm when he knew he would have hours or days before Birchmore would be missed at work. He arrived wearing a mask to disguise his appearance. He quickly strangled Birchmore, choking off her air supply until she perished. He moved her body and tied a duffel bag strapped to the closest doorknob to make it look like Birchmore had done this to herself. And he quickly left her apartment. The crime required planning and a unique willingness to take risks to cause irreversible harm. 18 U.S.C. 3142 G1. Release conditions cannot safeguard the community against a defendant who has displayed this type of commitment to harming others. Second, Farwell killed Birchmore after engaging in domestic violence. The Second Circuit has acknowledged, quote, a willingness to strive to strike loved ones offers prohibitive evidence of a tendency to violence and dangerousness towards others. U.S. v. Mercedes, a 2001 case, reversing the district court's pretrial release order as to 3 defendants, inciting to one of the defendants' history of domestic violence, even without any criminal record, as contributing to a finding that the defendant was dangerous. In fact, a study found that a single episode of strangulation was associated with a 750% increase in the risk of becoming a victim of a completed domestic homicide in all ethnic groups. Non-fatal strangulation is an important risk factor for homicide of women. Here, not only did Farwell choke Birchmore during sex on several occasions, but in the weeks prior to her death, she reported to her friends that he assaulted her when they were discussing her pregnancy. Farwell's interest in and glorification of violence towards women was clearly displayed in the images agents recovered from his iCloud account. Third, the court should have heightened concerns about the danger Farwell presents because of his extensive experience with weapons and the 10 firearms that are registered at his home. Farwell had firearm training in the military and during his law enforcement career. Plus, he had sufficient expertise to serve as a firearms instructor for other law enforcement officers. Fourth, Farwell is a danger to children. Unlike many exploitation cases in which there is no evidence of hands-on sexual contact with children, here Farwell enticed and sexually abused Birchmore when she was a mere 15 years old. So U.S. v. McCarthy, in a child porn case with some evidence of production, denying motion for release, holding the defendant would pose a danger to the community, in part because he had, quote, an obvious prurient sexual interest in children and acted upon those interests on multiple occasions, end quote. Indeed, he wrote in a text stating that he wished he had sex with her even earlier. Moreover, text messages show that Farwell maintained his sexual interest in children for years. He wanted Birchmore to pretend to be 13 or 14 years old when they had sex, and he initiated sex incest role-playing that further confirms that he remains a danger to children, just as when he began grooming Birchmore more than a decade ago. Man. B, Farwell remains a risk of obstruction. For the last 3 years, Farwell may have believed that he had gotten away with killing Sandra Birchmore. Now that he has been charged and some of the evidence has been revealed, circumstances have changed. He now knows that if convicted, he faces a mandatory life sentence. These new circumstances provide a great incentive for him to further obstruct justice. The court is in the unique position of having a wealth of information about what this defendant has done in the past when he believed there was a risk of criminal consequences. When Farwell feared that Birchmore might reveal information about his commission or possible commission of federal crimes, he killed her. When a Stoughton police employee told him that he or she had received a call reporting aspects of Farwell's illicit sexual relationship with Birchmore, Farwell sprung into action, directing that employee not to talk about the information and frantically admonishing Birchmore for revealing information. Throughout the final year or two of Birchmore's life, Farwell directed her to delete communications that could incriminate him. When state police detectives interviewed Farwell, he lied to them. Farwell's track record, which includes violence, intimidation, and dishonesty, strongly indicates that if released, he will continue to try to save himself by obstructing justice before trial. That could put many civilian witnesses at risk. Ultimately, release would pose a tremendous risk to the fundamental integrity of these proceedings. C, Farwell is a flight risk. The defendant is also a risk of flight. The grave consequence, a mandatory life sentence that will result from a conviction, provides a strong incentive to flee. U.S. v. Zhang, Second Circuit 2022, stating in a murder for hire case, the mandatory sentence of life in prison, quote, creates an extraordinary risk of flight, end quote, citing specifically to that defendant's age of 34 years old. See also U.S. v. Pierce, a mass case 2000, affirming magistrate judge's detention order because defendant charged with narcotics trafficking and witness tampering, quote, has an extremely strong incentive to flee based upon the length of the prison term he faces under the charges pending against him and the likelihood of conviction. Farwell also presents a risk of self-harm, given the nature of the charges, the corresponding mandatory life sentence, and his access to and experience with firearms. Courts have held that defendant's risk of self-harm is an appropriate part of the court's assessment of whether the defendant is a risk of non-appearance. They want this sucker to answer for his crimes. There's no taking the easy way out there, champ. Holding the court was, quote, within its discretion to consider unaliving ideation and previous unaliving attempts and determining whether it could reasonably assure the defendant's appearance, but emphasizing that it might have, quote, viewed the question differently if the district court considered only unaliving ideation. So conclusion, based on the foregoing, the government has met its burden to show that no conditions of release will reasonably assure the defendant's appearance, the safety of any person or the community, or the integrity of this proceeding. Accordingly, the government requests that the court order the defendant detained pending trial. The government further requests that if the court is inclined to release the defendant on conditions, it stay its order for such time to permit the government to file a motion for revocation of the order of release under 18 U.S.C. 3145A. Submitted by Joshua Levy. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. All right. So that was grueling. That was horrible. I should have given a trigger warning. Hopefully the chat, you guys did that because that was disturbing shit. This guy's an uber creep. Just an absolute uber creep. What a nightmare. What a nightmarish person. All right. Let's see. What do you guys think? Like, I'm not gonna lie. Not really that interested in watching the sentencing for this dude. Are you guys? What do you guys feel? What do you guys feel? Oh, by the way, I didn't even check with Jay, but I had no choice. I've got a live going tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. I've got two of my favorite hosts from Law and Crime who are typically grilling me. Oh my God, Dizzy. Dizzy says there's a 45-page affidavit in support. Dizzy, that's going to have to be a different live. That sounds like a lot. That's going to be a whole different live. Maybe I'll do that live tomorrow. Tomorrow's kind of a quiet day. Oh, good. Thank you very much for that update, Jonathan Rubin. We appreciate that. As it should have been. Yeah, because I know that he was getting arraigned today. And that's the other thing about federal courts. There's no dragging of asses in federal courts. They move quickly. These cases move much more briskly than the state system. The feds do not play. Said it once, I'll say it a million times. They cruise. They cruise through these cases. Like I said, they're ready. They're ready. Like they walk in, they have their case locked down. There is no sure, they're going to continue to investigate, but I'm hoping that they're continuing to investigate if he's harmed others, because this guy sounds like a monster to me. Like just beyond the monstrous acts with Sandra alone, but to just that absolute just breach of trust and authority in using his office to do the shit that he was doing makes him an uber creep. Just an uber creep. All right. I mean, should I do a poll? Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, this guy's going away for probably rest of his natural life, I would imagine. I don't think DP is on the table. Yeah, I mean, they always say that, Joanne, always. But I hope that that's true. I'm sure that it is. Like, if they get the sense this guy is like Sandra's not his only victim, I guarantee that they're still digging in for sure. But it's get him off the streets now. It's like how long can you keep this creep out there? It's like some point, like they knew as they're putting their case together, they know that the dude's a creep. Like I'm sure they had a tail on him all the time. They had to. So, all right, let me see. I'm gonna do a poll. I'm gonna see where y'all are at with this tele-sentencing thing. Which frankly is surprising. I guess there's not going to be like here in Illinois, there's a pretrial sentencing memo that's done, and they dig in, and the judge has something to kind of go on. How was he exposed? That's a good question. It was a good question. I think it was a phone call. There was a phone call that came in to the police station that somebody said that this dude was having sex with an underage girl, and then I think her buddies called the cops as well. So those two things finally got to somebody in the police department that gave a shit, right? It's like my whole thing that I did. And if you guys didn't watch the live from last night, like seriously, fix your lives. Like fix your lives. That was so good. It was probably my favorite live that I've ever done, because I just had a guy who spent 20 plus years in prison on a murder he did not commit, and just came out the other side just like an amazing human being. It was just like it was really, it's worth your time, whether it's replay. And please like and share that one. Like I want to get these Guevara things out there. I mean, like this guy is disgusting. We're talking about Farwell, but is equally disgusting is Guevara, who put 57 innocent people in prison for decades, each individually, for crimes, for murders they did not commit. If that, like, the shit is coming like home to roost with cops. Okay, like this whole concept of officer friendly that was so pervasive I mean, we all grew up. I'm an old man. I grew up, oh, you can trust the police. They're there to help us, and God damn it, some of them are. But like I've said a million times, there are a ton of great cops out there, a ton. The problem with that profession is that they have so much power because of their gun and their badge that when you get one bad apple, it spoils the bunch. They have to answer for it because of the existence of the thin blue line that they created, whereas they don't rat on one another. It has created this huge amount of distrust where you have one that's shitty, you immediately think that there's others that are shitty with them. And that they're just not ratting on each other. So, look, like as a defense attorney who's been cross-examining cops for a long, long time, I knew how full of shit they were. They're professional liars. Literally, they are trained to lie in interrogations in order to induce people to give confessions. They are trained to lie. Trained. Professional liars. Professional liars, which was always, you're sitting there like crossing a cop, or you're picking your jury and you're asking the jurors. And I know how people feel about cops in general from years of voir dires where we're asking our jurors, just by way of that person wearing a uniform and having a badge, do you think that they're more trustworthy? And every juror that was honest, and I'm talking typically 10 out of 10, maybe 9 out of 10 jurors were like, yeah, I do. Like, I can't help, like, I just have a tendency to think that they're more honest because of their uniform and their station. Just ain't facts, yo. Like, so, like, as you can imagine, and look, I don't want cops to be bad. So like I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I'm so happy that all the corruption and the frame up jobs and the scummy cops are like, I don't want it to be that way. I want us to have good guys. I want every cop to be Bill Dorsch. I have a very high standard of what a cop should be. And they should be like Bill Dorsch. Be like, what would Bill Dorsch do? That's what the mantra should be for what would Bill Dorsch do? Bill Dorsch single-handedly brought down Guevara and his bullshit that he ran for over a decade, ruining lives, thousands of lives. It goes far beyond just the victims that he put in prison that didn't commit these crimes. It's their families, it's their loved ones, it's the victims' families, the actual victims' families who are never going to get justice because that piece of shit was putting innocent people on, closing the cases, which means no more investigation. So now that victim's family is never going to get justice. It's like unbelievable. That like, I'm just telling y'all, like, for everybody who's crying out justice, we love justice. If you're not watching that, then you don't give a shit about justice, because justice comes in many forms. Victims come in many forms in the criminal justice system. That's facts. And this is the other side of it. Innocent people that spend the better part of their lives in prison for crimes that they don't commit. And like, I'll have Mike Osbrook, who's in the chat here, who is a habeas guy who's been trying to right wrongs on wrongful convictions forever. He'll tell you, the amount of innocent, like, don't Google the number of exonerations and be like, well, in the scope of how many trials there's been and how many convictions there are, that's not a big number. That doesn't even come close to scratching how many innocent people are in prison. People cannot afford the lawyers. People can't get somebody to look at their shit. And it's like moving a mountain to undo a conviction. Moving a mountain. That's a fact. So watch the live, please. And for the love of God, if you don't want to watch it, at least share it out to the world. It's important. It's important. Like, it was like literally my favorite live of all time that I've done. And I've done some great lives with some amazing people like that. Like, that was just like, I just wanted to hug that dude, man. Like, I'm sitting there, like, listening to him just tell his story. And like, that's a series that we're doing. So like, if it's not your jam, get prepared to be skipping some lives, because we're going to be putting on a bunch of Guevara's now exonerated victims. Like, and like, you were looking at a guy who was sitting there with, like, I don't know, after taxes, 14 million in his bank account because the city had to pay him out. They're talking about Guevara's victims costing the city of Chicago $1 billion. Just let that resonate with you. Let it resonate. All right, I keep threatening to do this poll. Stream sentencing Sentencing. Hearing. Okay, yes. You better vote the right way on this, y'all. You know what that is. All right. There it is. It's up. It's up, kids. Oh, God damn it. Come on, nose. Come on. I feel like I'm watching a horse race. I feel like I've got like a trifecta, and I've boxed it so it's like they could finish in any order. Oh, this is like a runaway. You guys really want to watch the sentencing hearing? You guys just love trials. I love that about you too. I mean, I can't lie. Can't lie. I gotta finish a Garcia episode, y'all. Like, we're traveling tomorrow night. Gotta get this done. I have to record. I just might have to deny y'all. Oh, okay, there. 21. We're moving. There's movement. I felt it move. Oh boy. All right. So we've got 350 in chat. We're at 57 votes. All right, let's go. 24%. Okay. Dizzy, you got to figure out a way that you can vote many, many times. Dizzy will always do my bidding. I love you, Dizzy. Figure it out how to vote multiple times. Yeah, it's a good Garcia. So like, and people are like so pissed at me about Garcia, but like I'm at the point in Garcia where Allie's like in there with me a lot. And like she's just been busy with real work, like lawyer work. Not that my work's not real, but different lawyer work that's time sensitive. So it's taking me longer to get those episodes out. But like we're actually getting close to ending it. Like I'm probably 2, maybe 3 episodes away from the trial in that case. And I've gone through, I mean, it's 60. This is the 60th like episode that's dropping. When it drops, it should come out Friday or Saturday. You know, I went through all of the discovery with y'all, like in the form of a story. So it's like, I don't have to belabor the trial. You know, I'm going to be able to kind of whiz through the trial. Oh yeah. RA, BC, ML, they'll all be doing it. Poor kids. Let me see. I know Diz can't get in. She can't get in. Well, it seems to be holding strong. I was about to say, you guys shock me that you want to watch this. This shit's gonna be boring. It's like you guys, like I know. It's like Allie said, you're just here for the faces. Tell us his faces. That's really what we all want to see. Trial TV Live. Yeah, and they're nice because you can watch over there and you cannot have to listen to my big mouth. You know, I mean, how great is that? I always like when like Todd will send me a message like, "Hey, Bob, you know, you shouldn't talk or make the sound effects during the." I'm like, you know what? In a 6-hour stream of a trial, there is going to be shit that is boring as fuck, and it's okay if I talk over some questions. Every question, take it from an attorney who's tried cases for a long, long time. Every question is not sitting at the edge of your seat interesting. It's just not. So like if it's interesting, I'm going to pause it. If they're talking about getting something, laying the foundation for getting something in, I'm going to talk over it because it's boring as hell. Oh, listen to Michael. Michael's talking shit. Leave it to Bob. The only case takes longer to listen to the podcast than to read the book. Well, the reality, Michael, is that the podcast has taken just about almost as long as it took to try the case, which was 3 years. Not quite, but I mean, I'm writing the book. You guys realize that I write the script for Garcia. It's like I'm writing the book, which is now 60 episodes that are all ranging from 45 minutes to an hour and maybe a half on the long end is the longest one. So if you were to look at my scripts, I've now written my second book because Gacy was 36 episodes and all of those were approximately 45 to an hour. Like our last episode, I think was 2.5 hours on Gacy, you know? So like I've written 2 novels. Osbrook, I would love that. I would love that. Like, I would love to convert both of those into books. I mean, the writing is done. The writing is done. And if you haven't listened to our podcast, please, for the love of God, scan that thing, listen to it. There you go. It's like I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of our podcast. And I'm not talking to, and I love the stuff that I do in the docket with Allie. It's my ride or die. She is brilliant. It's like I love our dynamic. It's like that's why I started the docket. But like the docket, which is my side pod, Defense Diaries is the main podcast. That's got Gacy and Garcia. The third season, I'm either doing something I'm super excited about, which is I'm getting away from the murder and I'm moving into the heist. I've got a friend who is super tight with an old Chicago outfit guy named Jerry Scalisi. Google him. He's infamous for the Marlboro diamond heist that happened over in the UK. So he ended up getting tried over in Great Britain. The Crown. He was tried by the Crown. Scotland Yard's in it. He was held in custody in the MCC, which is the federal holding facility here in Chicago, for 4 years. As soon as he got off the plane from England, Scotland Yard had called and said, they called the feds in Chicago and they're like, hey, have you ever heard of a gentleman? Oh, that sounded more Irish. Have you ever heard of it? I'm not going to do it. Have you ever heard of a guy named Jerry Scalisi? And the feds in Chicago say, you got Scalisi over there? And they're like, did like something go missing? They're like, yeah, somebody stole the Marlboro diamond, which was a 47 carat diamond in the shape of a heart that had 100 carat diamonds, 101 carat diamonds around it, a beautiful piece. And it was heisted. And they pick Scalisi up at the airport, him and his partner Art. And they're grilling him. They strip search him. They can't find the diamond. They never find the diamond. Yet they hold him in custody for 4 years. His famous mob lawyer fought extradition back to the UK for 4 years. They finally get him over there, and then they try him. And their trials are much different over there. I have the whole transcript. This right here is like they don't have a court reporter. The judge is the court reporter. So I don't know if you can tell how big this is the transcript of Scalisi's trial. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Like their whole system is different. If you're going to challenge whatever, it's so like, it's going to be great. And I'm really excited about it. And I'm excited to kind of yes, my dear.
Tell me when to talk to you real quick.
All right. I always got to talk to me real quick. We're trying to figure out, we hate boarding the Nook. Like it's a nightmare. I do not like giving my love bug over to anybody that I don't know to watch, but it's like, we have no choice. We're traveling to Philly tomorrow because our oldest daughter is getting married in next summer, and Allie's parents are bringing her to wherever that dress shop is in Manhattan that they do say yes to the dress, wherever that is. So all the girls are going to do that. And I'm just going to lay like a gutter bum in Times Square while they're doing that. So yeah, I'm really, really excited about that next season. So, all right. I'm yapping, hoping that this sentence poll is going to flip, and it doesn't seem like it's going to flip. So, but we're losing people. Like if we go under 300, I'm not streaming it. So that's that. So that's another way you can tell me you don't want to watch it, by dipping. Oh, I almost forgot. So did I tell you tonight, 7 p.m. my time, and it's going to be a 55-minute stream exactly because I have a fantasy football draft at 8. So, but I'm really excited. I have Michael Bryant and Linda Kennedy Baden on tonight. My two hosts that grill me on law and crime. So the tables have turned. I'm going to be grilling them tonight. 7 p.m. Law and crime hosts. They've got their own channel. They're promoting it. We're going to talk this case. Tell us. We're going to talk probably the Karen Reed civil suit that was filed. We're going to talk about everything that's kind of big out there, anything that's going on. Obviously, I'm going to want to talk about Birchmore since this thing dropped today. So it'll be a good live. It'll be a good live. Meg P. Thank you so much. You were so sweet. $10 holla. Appreciate that. Oh, which reminds me, I did get I owe somebody a thank you off my Venmo yesterday. Came in last night during the live. Let me see. KS Bob sent me a $20 Venmo last night. Thank you for shining a light on wrongful conviction. Bill, thank you for having the grit and character to stand up and speak out. I know it's not easy. Jacques, I'm happy you made it out. Heart. Thank you so much. That's so thoughtful. Kay, you're amazing. I appreciate that so much. So much. All right, so yes, Kleinfeld's. There it is, Kraken. That's a spot. Thank you. I knew one of you guys would know. I'm gonna be in New York. I think that I should arrange to have lunch with Jay and Shands. I can't believe I just thought of this. While they're over at Kleinfeld's doing the dress shit. It's perfect. Oh, I gotta hit Jay up. I gotta let him know. He's gonna hate it. He's like, oh my God. It's like, you want me to leave the house, dude? He's like, I'm like, hey, what's up, Helena? Welcome. Peppa Pot, Scotland Art. Yeah, I'm excited about that. All right. And then so I'm torn. Tomorrow, do I read the 45? Like, I am behind on Delphi, and I don't want people thinking that I have like cooled on Delphi one iota, because I have not. If that's not evident that I went and spent 3 days in Delphi with the hearings, like, I'm all about Delphi. Like, that's just, but there's been a bunch of shit going on. Like, the filings have been kind of, like they're just kind of like your par for the course, moving towards trial filings. But yeah, I think I should do the Delphi tomorrow. I think that Delphi needs to be done. So I think that what I'll do tomorrow is the Delphi. Because originally today I had told Dizzy, I said, I think I'm going to do the Delphi, because she had sent me all the docs. Allie got me some other docs too. The clerk sends us all the time. So yeah, I'll never leave you all on Delphi. I'll never leave you on Delphi. Got to keep a close eye on that case. Because, there's all the people out there. He's pleading. He's pleading out. He's pleading. He's already pled. They just decided not to tell them. It's like, what, dude? No. Thing's going to trial. It is going to trial. Like, I'd love to, like, if any of those folks, any of the he's pleading folks want to do a friendly wager, I'm here for it. Like, I'm like, let's bet. There's no way. There's no way. I know what a plea smells like, and it's like, it's not a case where they're pleading. I don't even know if there's been an offer made. State has to offer you something before you can accept a plea agreement. I don't know if that's happened. And typically the way that it happens with plea agreements, because you know what the state nor the defendant or the defense attorneys want to do if they're pleading is continue to work on a case. Because what you have to do, whether it's criminal or civil, I don't care what kind of case it is, I don't care what kind of settlement negotiations in civil you have, or plea negotiations and criminal. I don't care what you got going on with it. You have to assume that it's not going to settle, and or your client's not going to plea, and you have to prepare for trial. So what typically happens is when I get a plea offer from the state on any kind of case, it doesn't matter. Any kind of case, could be a drug case, could be a battery, it could be any number of criminal charges. And the state makes an offer, they give us a drop dead date. They're like, all right, listen. Yeah, I wish I got some Chicagoans out here, like in our crew, in our fam. Like maybe I should have one of you guys come take care of Nookie. I'm so afraid that we're gonna board our dog in a place where they just don't love pets. That you're gonna get that asshole who like hates working there and is just like took a job and that abuses your dog, and then I have to go back there and flamethrow the whole fucking place, and then I'm in prison and Allie's trying to like get me out of prison pre-trial, and I'm saying I had to burn it down because they abused my dog, and like everybody's like, free Bob, he was protecting the dogs, it'd be a whole nightmare. So LaSalle County, that's a little bit of a drive for me, Carly. How far is LaSalle County? I bet you Carly takes really good care of the dogs too. Like we're looking, and like we spend the money, we get him like the lodge where he's on a camera all the time, and it's like an elevated bed and there's a TV and there's like a hotel room. But I like that he has the ability to be, play with other dogs because he really enjoys that part of it. So but pull for the nook. Yeah, exactly. No, he's such a sweet guy. Oh my God. It's like I have not taken him for a walk in 3 days because it's been hot as hell. Like yesterday, like, I don't know if you were on a live yesterday, but it was like, it was very, like, I haven't decided if I'm going to do this thing, but I'm keeping an eye on it against my will. Like maybe I'll do a little of it, but I'm definitely dipping at some point. Let me see. Yeah, I gotta get, like, I have to make an executive decision. I gotta get Garcia done. Like I gotta finish writing the script and I gotta get like the recording. All right, so I'm on it. They haven't done shit yet. They're not back. Yeah, I'll figure. No, I'm not gonna put Jay on blast on a live like that pressures him into meeting me for lunch. I'll do it via text like a civilized human being. Not gonna stress my friend out, He'll come up with some, oh, we gotta take the kids somewhere. I got something going on, man. Listen, I'd love to, but you guys know Jay hates leaving the house. I mean, he's made that well known. Well known. So yeah, I gotta prepare mentally for my job that starts on Tuesday. Like just a variety of excuses. Like Jay, I mean, he has like a handy little like kind of like reference book he keeps in his back pocket of excuses to avoid public interaction, which I mean, I ain't sweating him on it, yeah, no. So it was so hot. I could not bring my dog out. Like it would have been torturous for him. He would not have enjoyed it. It was too hot, and it's still pretty hot. Like it's probably, I think it's like upper 80s, and he's like half Siberian. It's like he starts sweating immediately, like his tongue's hanging out. He's like, ah, but he needs exercise. It's like, gets the zoomies. He's running around the house like a lunatic. Wants to play tug. Like, and him and I have epic tug battles. I'll tell you that. What's this? Tell your friend to quit the sound effects and capital cases. Who are you talking to? Which? Oh, are you talking about Jay? I think I'm guilty of it too. Don't come for Deja's gonna get all. Don't worry, Deja. Jay can handle his shit. Jay's no shrinking violet. Jay is no shrinking violet. All right. So while we're sitting here, I am going to forgot I haven't even promoted. So make sure that you guys are putting your notifications on for tonight's live with Michael, Bryant, and Linda Kenny Baden. It's going to be a good one. They're both great. If you watch Law and Crime, you know who they are. They're anchors. They anchor all the time. They're not just other lawyers like me that come on and talk. They're the ones running it over there. So let's see. Let's see here. All right. So I'm going to tweet. Okay. I'm not sleeping. So don't ask me if I'm sleeping. See, this is where it'd be nice to have Allie. I'm like, Allie, could you chat? I've got to promote this thing tonight, y'all. Got to do it. But yeah, and also, let me see. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check where I'm at. Yeah, that Birchmore case, though. God, just awful. Poor girl. Poor girl. It's brutal. Okay. All right. Just bear with me, y'all. So just take it. Just okay. I'll do it like who was that character that Mike Myers used to play? Coffee Chat. Linda Richmond. So okay, let's see. Okay. I gotta come up with a good one. Let's see. Potato fries is sweet potato fries. Discuss amongst yourself. All right, go. All right, so that'll keep you busy. Wait, you guys aren't talking about which ones you want. Potato French fries or sweet potato. That's the coffee talk. That like you guys got to talk about it. Which ones are better? I actually prefer sweet potato fries better. I find them to be delicious, but I like sweet potatoes. There you go. I knew I could count on Spitfire to get it started. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Osbrook, did you watch my live yet from last night? Like it's right up your alley, dude. Right up your alley. Like Michael, have you heard of Reynaldo Guevara? Or have you heard of this cop that I speak of? This piece of shit who's actually walking free, collecting a pension. He took in Jacques Rivera's case, who I had on last night, they put Guevara on the stand. He took the fifth 200 times during that evidentiary hearing on the post conviction. 200 times. What a piece of shit, man. Mm. 200 times. Oh, Todd coming through. This is what I like. Oh, yeah. This is great. This is great. Coffee Talk with Linda Richmond. All right. CDT. All right, y'all. It's almost done. Okay. Oh, good. See, my tweeting got me under 300 for the live. I get to dip. I get to dip. Told you if it goes under 300, Mata out. Mata out. Oh my God. The sentencing, the thing is got 172 votes and it went up. You guys are really, really letting me down here. Damn it. Okay. Let's see. Legal analysis, law and crime. Who's good at hashtags? See, this is where I need Jay. Tell me what the right hashtags are on the Twitter machine to get this thing out there. See, I'll put the hashtags are always something you're trying to figure out to get it out into the algo. Taz. Well, I'll put the other K, Karen Reed. Yeah, I was mortified to see that Corey Richens was also KR when somebody first used their initials in the chat the other day. I'm like, oh no. Like, well, why is somebody talking about Karen Reed in here? And then I'm like, oh my God, it's Corey Richens. We got to come up with something else for Corey Richens. We can't use KR. It gives me like PTSD. I cannot handle like everything that's still going on with Reed. Like, I'm just like, dude, just everybody shut up. Wait till it goes to trial. I'm over it. The civil suit. I mean, it's I haven't even looked at it, but it has to sound in dram shop. She was drunk, like that. We know she's liable. like that. That is a much lower standard in civil cases. Like, and she on video was served 9 drinks. She should not have been driving. And it's like the bars are going to be liable and she's going to be liable. So, people are like, oh, if you think that they're going to be able to get into the conspiracy, which has nothing to do. Hey, I like it, Lamam. I'm out of here. You know that my production company is Modified Sound, MOTTAFIED Sound LLC. Pretty cool. And what else? Karen Reed. Oh yeah, Sandra Birchmore. Yes, please. I want to talk about that. Like this cop has just moved up my shit list of people that I just want to, like, honestly just punch in the face, like, repeatedly. Like, I have to say, like, there was no one, just the mere sight of them, that I wanted to blast in the face more than Adam Montgomery. And that was just because of the way that he treated his daughter was so disgusting. As a father, I was just disgusted. Oh, okay. I'll do it. Spit. Yeah. If you don't, all right, let me do it right now. Otherwise I'll forget. I've got a very short memory these days. Spit. Okay, you guys can blame Spitfire for this delay. Still not sleeping. I'm here. There we go. No one will think I'm. Boop. All right. Oh, God damn it. It's not the right one. You guys, you know what the worst thing? We're going to Philly. I'm missing Pearl Jam tomorrow. I'm missing Pearl Jam and Thursday and Saturday. And I'm heartbroken. I'm a huge Pearl Jam fan. Been in the 10 Club forever. Like my trial or my concert homie BJ is like, it's got to go without me. We've been going for forever to Pearl Jam together. I'm going to literally be flying over Wrigley Field because our flight's at 9 tomorrow night, probably while Pearl Jam's playing Given to Fly at Wrigley Field. It's probably what's going to happen. All right, Megan, I'm doing it right now. Right. Yeah. I definitely have to take that, my old office address off my emails. It's time. It's time to remove that. Okay. 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 All right, Spitfire. I just sent it to you. It's in the like under the signature block where I have my address. That's right. I mean, Pearl Jam. If you look, like people were like, there was like, like I hate Eddie Vedder's voice. I'm like, what? You hate Eddie Vedder's voice? Like, look, they've been together 20 plus years. I mean, going on 30, I think. Like you have to respect bands that stay together like that. No bullshit, no breakups, no whining, no sniveling. This is not, they are not Oasis. They've longevity counts for something in the rock and roll game. And they still go. Like Eddie used to be like that spider monkey crawling all over the stage, hanging from the top girders like a maniac. He's aged. Now he just drinks a bottle and a half of red wine and croons, man. Yeah, Pearl Jams. So that was me in college, 10. Shoo. It would always, they'd always play alive, like right when the bars were closing in college, and there'd be like 10 of us left just singing full throat. It was such a great album. However, as much as I love 10, which is one of the greatest albums of all time, I love, my favorite Pearl Jam album is No Code. I just love No Code. It's a great album. All right, so still nothing going here on this thing. I don't know. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I should do. Maybe what I do. Yeah, we're like the 278. We're losing people. People don't want to like see me doing like my personal shit. I don't blame them. How boring. How boring. Sir, you're boring me.
Well, as Arthur C. Clarke said, a well-stocked mind is safe from boredom.
Wow. Did you hear my phone just say that shit? Oh my God. The robots. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. That's a good idea. All right. That I'm making an executive decision. I've got work to do for this guy, for the little guy, for the podcast. I am going to direct you all over to our friends over at Trial TV Live. They will appreciate it, and make sure that you are giving them a sub, because they're super sweet people and I appreciate them. Okay. Let's see. YSL. No. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. I have set it up. All right. So this is what's going to happen, y'all. Look, I love you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to definitely do a live tomorrow. Like I said, I think I'm going to do Delphi. I adore you guys. Sorry for the kerfuffle early on. When Dizzy's not here with me, I lose my bearings. I was feeling very wobbly. Allie was out. I had no backup. I decided to read the indictment instead of like getting the, finding where they were streaming the thing, and had desperately go to Melanie's. And thank you, Melanie Little. Thank you for, allowing us to stream, even though I didn't wait to ask, but I'm sure she'll be cool with it. We're homies. Her and Allie have done some great lives together. And then, of course, we love our friends over at where I'm about to send you. Okay. So you guys love it. You guys, I love you. You guys are amazing. Trial TV Live will take care of you. And it's just kind of watching it. It's watching it, but you guys can chat in there and just make sure that you're subbing to them because they really appreciate it. They're a growing channel. And you know how Jay and I are and Steve and Dan, we show love. Like there's plenty of room in the creator space. Like I'm never going to be some kind of jerk off who like, no. If you're my friend, I'm going to promote you because I want everybody to do well. There's plenty of room for everybody. So that's just how I feel about it. All right. So you guys please come tonight. Oh, also you guys don't forget tonight I'm streaming. Michael Bryant, Linda, Kenny Baden. She's great. They're both great. Both great lawyers, great hosts over at Law and Crime. So make sure that you're checking that out. Because I think let me make sure that now I'm thinking. Like I hadn't even like, all right, so what I'll do, maybe Dizzy, when you're over there, ask those guys to portal everybody back to my live tonight. I scratch your back, you scratch mine, right? Right. All right. Okay. All right, you guys. Mods, I love you. Dizzy, I love you. Thank you so much for hanging with me today. We had a lot of news coming in, a lot of stuff. Tellez goes down as anticipated. It just took longer than we thought. They finally arrested the scumbag on Sandra Birchmore. So justice is coming for her and soon. And that, like, look, the difference between a federal case and of course he's presumed innocent, right? I feel pretty confident they got the right guy on that one. And I'm pretty confident he did it. So, obviously we have to wait till trial, but there's not going to be a trial because he can take a plea. I'll bet you that's one that it's going to plead out. So, and you guys are the best. Thank you for hanging. It was a lot of fun as always. Just love hanging in the chat. Best chat in the land. Best chat in the land. Because without y'all, I'd just be an old man talking about a shit ton of cases. Love yous.
Hot